Well, happy Friday evening and welcome to SHN Football Friday, coming to you live from the Georgetown Jewelry Studio Broadcast Center. Stephen Strong with you, alongside my buddy Justin Simmons. We are here with you tonight. We're set for week 3 of Texas high school football action. Getting a little bit of a late start tonight, Justin, but we made it. We're here. We got all the technical difficulties sorted out, and we're excited for a night of football.
Hey, it is live entertainment, and that sometimes happens, but no worries. We're back on track, and guess what? Let's go ahead and take it to Grand Endeavor Homes, a scoreboard update, just to get us started here on your SHN Football Friday. We'll start with 13-6A. Yes, teams already in district action. If anything, you guys need to strap on so we can get set for this. You got to get in the zone. 13-6A, Vandergrift is ahead of Cedar Ridge, 21-7. This game also at half. Westwood currently behind Hendrickson as the team from Pflugerville is up by a touchdown and a point after, 27-20. Cedar Park against San Angelo Central is the Timberwolves ahead, 21-14 at the break. This one should be an interesting finish, as it has been for Connolly in the last couple of weeks. They're still 0-2 against a 2-0 Bastrop side. This game tied at 14-14, but Connolly, maybe this is the week where they get their first win of the year. LBJ against Waco La Vega. This is a tough matchup for LBJ, but they're 2-0 coming into this contest, and this game currently tied at 7-7. Hyde Park is down in taps play to Houston St. John's, 21-0. And then we have the game between Vista Ridge and McNeil, where Vista Ridge, 2-0 coming into this contest, currently lead this game 14-7. And again, 13-6A has opened up district play here tonight. Talking about 13-6A, we go into some of the games that are still in the second quarter, as Stony Point leads Leander 31-7. That game also available here on SHN Sports. Hutto, another member of the SHN Sports family, they're having a terrific season thus far, looking to go 3-0 tonight as they currently lead El Paso del Valle 21-7. So Del Valle in a little bit of trouble here on the road. Westlake just trouncing Aikens at the moment, 44-0. This is a big game in 25-6A, as well as 25-6A has also kicked off. Lake Travis in Bowie, it's 21-3. Lake Travis, once again at home this week in Lake Travis, has the lead against their district rival. Lehman and Austin High, the Maroons, ahead 17-7. Del Valle leads Anderson 7-0. And then this game on SHN Sports, Georgetown, your mighty Eagles here, currently leading South San Antonio 2-0. Sounds like a soccer score, but just a safety scored for the defense of the Eagles. Manor and Liberty Hill trying to bounce back after a surprising loss. In a very surprising way to Hutto last week. They're down, though, to the Mustangs, who are looking for their first win of the season, 13-7. McCallum and Glenn ahead against your Knights, 14-7. That was as Glenn looking for their first win. Salado ahead of the Rebels of Travis, 29-0. Eastview taking on Northeast Early College High School, former Reagan High School. Eastview leads the Patriots here on SHN Sports, 20-0. Over in Pflugerville, or actually Elgin, Pflugerville on the road, and they lead 21-10. St. Michael's and Weimar, and it's Weimar ahead 12-0. Just a few other games taking place. Maynard New Tech behind against Crockett, 22-6. New Braunfels Canyon and Dripping Springs still waiting an update from that scoreline, as well as from Fort Worth Trinity Valley against Austin Regents. Seguin against San Antonio Central Catholic as the Buttons do battle with the team from Seguin, and then Marble Falls against Geronimo Navarro. We have a few games that ended last night. Cedar Creek on the SHN Sports Network, another win. They are having a fantastic year so far, Stephen. 3-0 as they were able to beat the Billies of Fredericksburg 20-12. Navarro Lanier from last year beats Eastside Memorial 49-0 to get their first victory as Navarro High School. So congrats to the Vikings out there. And then Wise beats Rouse 25-0. Rouse still searching for their first win of the year. And yes, even with the helmet on, that will do it for our first update of the evening. I promise next time it will probably be sans helmet.
And of course, that Navarro Eastside game from last night was on SHN Sports. It was the ASD game of the week that we had here with myself and David England on the call there, which of course you can catch all the games we've had all season long and all the games we will have moving forward on shnsports.com and all the archives of everything. You can go catch the call last night as well as as Navarro got the victory there at Nelson Field last night. We are going to take a quick break for a message from our sponsors, but we'll be back to recap some of the games, in more detail from last night, as well as the games moving forward throughout tonight. And keeping you updated on all of it. And we just had our Grand Endeavor Homes studio update for all the scores around the area, and we will be right back with more action from SHN Football Friday.
Jimmy Jacobs' reputation for building beautiful custom homes in Central Texas speaks for itself. For over 30 years, he has been behind some of the most successful and sought-after new home developments in Georgetown. Grand Endeavor Homes represents a new era of elegant custom home building. Now joined by his son, Justin Jacobs, Jimmy has launched Grand Endeavor Homes to continue his legacy and reputation for custom homes in Georgetown and the surrounding areas. Visit GrandEndeavorHomes.com for details and directions to the model home. Central Texas High School football on SHN Sports is made possible by Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company. 3 words describe Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company: simple, reliable, and awesome. We support our community. From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products, Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company helps put your brand on your business. Get started on your project today by getting a quick and easy quote online at GeorgetownShirtCompany.com. 2019 high school football on SHN Sports is proudly presented by Georgetown Jewelry. Georgetown Jewelry is your trusted local jewelry store, family owned and operated since 2013. Whether you desire a one-of-a-kind custom piece or want to enjoy browsing our inventory of both unique and traditional jewelry and watches, stop by and see us at Georgetown Jewelry. We also specialize in jewelry repair and appraisals. For more information, please visit Georgetown Jewelry, located in the Williamsburg Village Shopping Center in Georgetown, or online at georgetownjewelry.com.
And welcome back to the Georgetown Jewelry Broadcast Studio here on SHN Sports Football Friday. Justin Simmons with you alongside Steven Strong. I said that backwards. I'm Steven Strong. You're Justin Simmons.
I'm Justin.
Does it matter?
Simmons. Well, you're probably strong.
You are with us, me.
Technically, I'm here.
And I am alongside you. And wait.
It works out either way.
I'm not alongside myself, though, so I see where I went wrong now. So we just had our Grand Endeavor scores updates as these games progressed throughout, nearing halftime for a lot of them. We talked about, we had some games last night on the SHN network. Of course, Cedar Creek getting the victory, right?
Yeah,
last night in a 20-12 win over the Billies of Fredericksburg.
A team like Cedar Creek I mean, you have to remember where they started not too many years ago, and they had a lot of seasons with very lean years. So to see this program able to build and to grow and get these wins, I mean, hopefully they can start getting something special going on there in Cedar Creek. And it's nice to see that the Battle of Bastrop, so to speak, in the last couple of years has definitely been a lot closer than it had when it first started, as it usually is when you first start a new high school and have to get everybody accustomed to new traditions and things like that. But they have settled in nicely, and that's a big win against a team like Fredericksburg, who traditionally a pretty strong team out in the Hill Country.
Yeah, and I mean, for Cedar Creek to start off 3-0 this year is definitely a good start for them, and they're feeling motivated. Good defensive effort there on Fredericksburg to only allow 12 points. As for the other game we talked about, it was Navarro and Eastside down there at Nelson Field last night. I was there. Tough game all the way around. Lots of penalties throughout the entire game for both sides, but obviously the short end of the stick goes to the Panthers, as they were unable to stay in the game very long. But there was a lot of I was impressed, honestly. Like I said, we were there, and their fight that they had in that game, I felt like they played better with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, down 41-0, than they had all game, and I just really respected
sometimes
the no quit.
Yeah, sometimes you're gonna have games like that, and give props to the kids from Novato. Obviously, the name change, some little things changing. They had to hear about that throughout the whole off season, and they struggled out of the gate. Back-to-back losses, but they knew that there was a good opportunity to get a win against a team that's smaller, school-wise, like Eastside Memorial and Novato. The Vikings able to take advantage of the situation and came away with a big win. Now, will he be able to build on that for the next coming weeks? And we will have to see, but congrats to the Vikings. And if you're at Eastside Memorial, don't put your head down. It's still early on in the year, and there's still time to come away with at least one victory. And like Steven said, if the fight was there at the very last 8 minutes of the contest, then all you have to do is put it together for 4 quarters, and you'll be surprised how the outcome can go in your favor.
And I absolutely agree. And Navarro's in a pretty tough district. I mean, it was a good win for them. They got their first win of the year. Eastside fell to 0-3, but obviously a lot to focus on moving forward for Navarro, even despite a 49-0 win. We do have an update on the Gerald Cougar game. Of course, that game is on SHN Sports as well. Wally Harmon over there with the call. They are at halftime, and we welcome in their audience listening to that game as Gerald trails at the half, taking on Rysel. They trailed 26-6 there, so a lot of work to do for the Cougars.
It's been kind of up and down to start off the season for the Cougars. First game of the year was a loss. Second game of the year, and I don't think I need to sugarcoat it for the fans in Gerald, but it was a tough loss. Big loss to start off the season, but they bounced back nicely, got the result that they were looking for last week. But here, once again, behind early, and behind by a wide margin early.
Well, if there's one thing we know about the Cougars, and we learned from talking to Wally himself, and as we've talked to Coach Davidson over the season as well, especially to start off the season, I mean, there's no quit in them. They're a well-coached team, and they have a lot building there in this time right now for the Cougar program. And I think they're not out of this game yet, and I think we should expect a pretty solid second half for them, but obviously wanting to get off to a better start.
I want to remind people out there, because I know we haven't said it yet,
right,
but don't forget, this is the interactive show. We have the text line up there. There there it is.
I got you. I'll do it.
Thank you. Okay, so you have the text line up there.
Oh, wow.
You can text us. You can leave us a voicemail if you want. If you want to hear your voice all across the interweb, and to all the other viewers out there that are tuned in with us. Again, we want to know where you are watching SHN Football Friday. If you are at the stadium and you just happen to be streaming this right now, if you're just a grandparent or friends and family that wasn't able to actually make it to the venue where the game is being played, but you are still showing your support by listening and watching online, we would love to hear from you as well. So you can tweet at us at SHN Sports using the hashtag SHN Football Friday. Same thing on Instagram as well, at SHN Sports. And, if you got some time to follow a couple of other people on Twitter, you can follow Steven at Probably Strong, and you can follow myself at The Smash Simmons, both on Twitter and on Instagram for both of us. So we do got that synergy
linear,
when it comes to promotions.
And we have an update as well from the Georgetown game, of course, going on in San Antonio. That is 8-0 there in the second quarter. Georgetown on top, taking that road trip down there. It's Carl Schoening and David England are on the call there, coming to you from San Antonio. So Georgetown off to the first touchdown of the game. And
and I mean, it's 8-0. It was 2-0 just moments ago. So they had scored and converted the safety. And now, obviously, they have the 6 extra points. So they lead by a touchdown and 2-point conversion. That's a pretty healthy lead, but still early on in that contest as they're working their way through the second quarter of play. Halftime getting ready to come up there in San Antonio. And you can follow along with the rest of that game here on the SHN family of networks.
We mentioned Cedar Creek played last night and started off 3-0. We didn't mention that is their first ever time in program history starting at 3-0.
Wow.
So congrats to those Cedar Creek Eagles making history.
I just knew that there was something more special about that than just a simple 3-0. I know if you have a traditional winning school, 3-0 might not seem like a lot, but and again, no disrespect to anybody from Cedar Creek, but when you're one of those Eagles players and you remember the Eagles when they didn't have that type of success, I mean, 3-0 is a huge deal for that program. So, congrats to them once again, and we'll see if that can carry on throughout the rest of the year. Other games going across the SHN Sports family of networks. I mean, obviously we have some games like Mejia and other teams that are outside the Central Texas region. So SHN all over the map. But again, we want to know and hear from you and let us know how your Friday night is going using the hashtag SHN Football Friday. And Stephen, one of the funny things is, and I'm going to take a picture and use that hashtag on Twitter just to give people an idea of what we're looking for here. But man, I used to, I played football, and it's been about 20 years since I've actually had to go helmet to helmet with somebody. But man, this thing is heavy, and that's because it's one of those redesigned ones.
Would Antonio Brown be okay with it is the question.
It looks a lot like Antonio Brown's old helmet. Maybe he'd be all right with it. But I'm just like, dude, I was putting this on, and I'm just like, it has some heft to it. I was like, man, I must have a
balance your head around there.
I guess as a younger man, I didn't really realize how strong my neck muscles were at the time. So, yeah, always learning something new. But yeah, great to have all the props here in the house as we look like we might check in on that Georgetown game at some point, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're going to see how much time is left. They are now leading it 11-0 in the second quarter there as they have the ball. We're going to try to tune into Carl Schoening and David England on the call coming to you from South San Antonio, as we'll see if we can get that going live for you now as they head to halftime. Let's see.
Like, Steven doesn't know that I've taken a selfie, and he doesn't. There you go. Okay.
Did I turn?
No, but I need you to look one more time. Hurry.
Yeah.
Oh, it was too late. Try again.
Why would you hit
it?
You
got 5 seconds. You have to hold it. Yeah.
When is there
2? There you go.
Perfect.
Try to utilize that hashtag on Twitter at SHN Sports, and you'll see. We'll do the same here inside the studio on our end, and we will send it to SHN Sports utilizing the hashtag, and maybe after we come back from this contest, you will see the picture that I took along with Steven Strong and, showing off what we did here. I can't say it's the most creative use of flash photography, but it's okay.
All right, we'll see if we can get this
Fox Auto Parts,
Georgetown game live.
Gateway Mortgage, Georgetown Jewelry, Georgetown Shirt Company, Glenn Patterson Realtor, Grand Endeavor Homes, Oak Ridge Disciple House, Minuteman Press in Georgetown, Program Insurance Group, Rob Hipp Insurance, and Royce Electric. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bobcats from the 25-yard line. And Riojas will go under center. Maybe only time for one more play. They're out of timeouts. They're just going to take a knee and elect to go into the locker rooms, trailing 11-0. So, after 2 quarters complete, your Georgetown Eagles lead the South San Bobcats 11-0 thanks to a safety, a field goal, and a touchdown here on Friday the 13th. We'll be back with more Georgetown Eagle football in a moment on SHN Sports. I'm Carl Schoening along with David England as the Bobcat Band is about to take the field here.
And welcome back here to the SHN Georgetown Jewelry Broadcast Studio. As Georgetown goes into halftime, we just heard the end of their call there, Carl Schoening and David England, as Georgetown leads it 11-0 going into halftime. We are full swing through going through week 3 as we welcome in some of these audiences listening to these games on our network. Eastview, why don't we just go ahead since we're at halftime and do a Grand Endeavor Homes score update from around the area.
Live here from the Georgetown Jewelry Studio in Georgetown, Texas. Again, welcome to all those viewers that have just joined us in studio at halftime. You were watching Georgetown against South San Antonio as Georgetown went into halftime with the lead 11-0. These games now in the third quarter of play. 13-6A action. Vandergrift ahead of Cedar Ridge 21-7. Vista Ridge over McNeil 14-7. You have this contest between Bastrop and Connolly as Connolly still searching for their first win. Bastrop 2-0 and they currently lead by a touchdown and an extra point 21-14. All these games currently at the half, and there's quite a decent amount of them. Again, we stay in 13-6A. Hendrickson and Westwood, that game remains at 27-20 in favor of Hendrickson. Cedar Park leads San Angelo Central 21-14. This game on SHN Sports. Hutto has a 2-touchdown lead over El Paso del Valle 21-7. In TAPS action, Houston St. John's over Hyde Park 21-0. We move on to 25-6A as, well, Westlake, I can't say this is a surprising score considering that they are playing Aikens 44-0. Hopefully Aikens can make some adjustments and try to work their way back into this ball game in the second half. The big game in 25-6A tonight, Lake Travis hosting Bowie. That's always a personal matchup between the kids from Austin and from Lake Travis, but right now the Cavs back on the right track. After losing their first game of the year, they lead the Bulldogs 24-3. Austin High, the Maroons barely beating Lehman as the Lobos dropped a close game last week. The score 17-14. Del Valle over Anderson 27-3 as Glenn leads McCallum 21-7. Salado beating Travis 36-0, and the game between LBJ and Waco La Vega still remains at 7-7. These games kind of getting close to that halftime portion of the night. Stony Point and Leander as the Tigers beating the Lions 38-7 at the moment. Manor now behind Liberty Hill as the Panthers have taken the lead 14-13 with just about 3 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Dripping Springs, New Braunfels Canyons, and this is a tight contest, but it looks to be exciting. 35-27, plenty of points put up on the board as they get ready to go into the half. This game also on SHN Sports as Eastview leads Northeast College High as Eastview currently sitting with a 20-point lead, 20-0.
No, they actually tuned into us just now, and they are leading at halftime 47-0 over Northeast.
Okay, so we got a big update there.
Thanks to Travis Banks on the call with SHN for that update.
Well, thank you again, Travis, and I'm sure we'll check into their game at some point here tonight as we finish up the roundup here. Pflugerville beating Elgin at the moment 21-10. Weimar ahead of St. Michael's 12-0, and then Regents so far pitching the shutout against Fort Worth Trinity Valley 15-0. Seguin over Central Catholic from San Antonio 16-14, and then Geronimo Navarro is ahead of Marble Falls, who are still winless this year, 13-0. We have some other score from Crockett, between Crockett and Manor New Tech, as it's Crockett who leads 22-6, and that's all the scores I have here on the Grand Endeavor scoreboard update.
Well, we obviously have the Georgetown helmet here and have been updating on that game all night as they went to halftime with the 11-0 lead. And we're going to try to get in touch with their, on color tonight is David England with Carl Schoening over there. So I think we're with David right now. David, how's that game going so far?
Hey, you guys got me?
Yeah, we got you. How are you doing?
Hey, good. It's Carl. Just
oh, hey, Carl.
I'm calling on David's phone. So,
Sweet.
yeah, it's funny how that works out. But, yeah, it's been a fun defensive battle here between South Sam and Georgetown.
Yeah, and so they have the 11-0 lead. We caught the end of the first half at the beginning, but I mean, yeah, the end of the first half, right before halftime. But they obviously had a safety in there too, right?
Yeah, it's funny. The safety was actually the first score of the game. Both teams got into the red zone before that, but then just the Eagles were able to take advantage of an option that went over the intended running back's head, and he had to try and get out of the end zone, and he could not, and that was the first score of the game. The Eagles were able to get a touchdown without the extra point, and then right before the end of the half, they tapped on a 39-yard field goal attempt. So, yeah, a really good showing from this Eagles offense. As the defense has really been the most impressive thing. This is a triple option offense that South Sam runs, and really good position assignment football played by the Georgetown defense.
Yeah, it sounds like they're getting done what they need to get done. Honestly, well, you know, we were together last night for the AISC game of the week between Navarro and Eastside, and David was with us as well. And he was saying, you know, a little off the record a little bit, he was a little worried about this matchup. And it's a close game so far, but it sounds like the Eagles are, you know, doing what they needed to do, at least for the first half.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing, is that the Eagles are keeping strong defensively. While the offense maybe has missed a couple opportunities, they still looked good enough. This is a much improved Bobcat team. Last year they only won 2 games. This year they're 2-0. So, you know, it's a battle of 2 undefeated teams early in the season, and someone's going to take their first loss tonight. So far the Eagles are the ones out in front, and if the score holds, they'll probably go ahead and happily take an 11-0 victory over this talented Bobcat team. They look really good, and the triple option has really been shut down because the Eagles have been preparing for it since the two-a-days started.
Right. Well, we appreciate you calling in, and we'll let you get some drinks and refreshments for halftime, and we'll look forward to your second half call. And thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Stephen. Talk to y'all later.
All right, sounds good. That was Carl Schoening on the call for Georgetown Eagles tonight, holding the 11-point lead. And Justin, obviously, good defensive effort, especially so far tonight for the Eagles.
Yeah, last week they showed more of the same. I mean, they were able to get some more points on the board, but defense, I mean, even when, and you have to excuse me, it's been a long week, but the team that they faced last week, when they had recovered a fumble deep within Georgetown Eagles territory, the Eagles defense was able to force a fumble and get it right back, and then later the offense rode down and got the score. So, you know, offense will win you games, that is true, but defense will win you championships, and if you can build this team around a strong defense, it looks like the rest will fall in place, because you only need to win by 1 point, so that's all it takes.
That's all it takes. A dub's a dub.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out, while we're here and while they're at halftime, I mean, we mentioned it briefly, the Patriots out to a 47-0 lead at halftime, a 2-0 team looking to go 3-0 so far. I mean, Patriots have had their struggles the last few years. Myself and Travis have been covering them since the last 3 years. Travis still on the call over there, and I'm sure he's really impressed with their start, and as are the entire area. I think they should be on notice that Eastview has always kind of been a team that's trying to get over the hump, that has a lot of talent, has a lot of potential, and competes in every game. But to kind of see them take that next level so far to start off this year, they've won some games and won them impressively.
I don't mean to play devil's advocate, but when you're looking at a team like Northeast Early College High School, the former Reagan High, you expect a team like Eastview to get a victory here.
I think you expect a team that Eastview has presented this year to win the way they are this year. But 2 years ago, if you told me that Eastview was up 47-0 over Northeast, regardless of anything, I would have been a little surprised.
Well, that's where I was trying to get at. You took the words right out of my
sorry.
mouth. It was basically where I was headed. It's just that I expect them to beat Northeast Early College High. I didn't expect to see it by this score line in the first half. So that's, just from the eye test of the score, not actually being at the game and just hearing the call, from what I can tell so far, what they have working over on the east side of Georgetown is that this team is putting things together and willing to play snap after snap like it's the very last snap. You want to see a team like this have the lead that they have at halftime and not take their foot off the pedal. You want to see them being able to run up the score to a respectable amount, knowing that they can go 2 and 3 deep. Because those kids that are not part of the starting 11 on either side of the ball, once they get in, they're going to want to do their best to earn more playing time. So it's no disrespect to Northeast and what they're trying to accomplish. You have to line up and you have to play to try to win the game, but I expect this score to get a little bit higher, and you would like to see the defense effort stay where it currently is, where they can hold Northeast to single digits in this game. But so far, so good for Eastview tonight against Northeast. That's a mouthful to say. Eastview, Northeast, all the directions.
Throw in the early college prep after that.
Yeah.
And you got yourself a whole sentence,
it's a buffet
essay right there. Yeah. So as we near halftime, I think the Hippos have actually started the second half already. They currently lead the visiting Del Valley team 21-7 in the third quarter. We're going to try to tune in there to see what's going on in that second half as the Hippos, once again, part of our SHN network, try to increase their lead. Now they only lead at 21-14, so a single touchdown game here, and the Hippos have the ball and are trying to march down the field. So we'll tune in if we can there live on the call.
Replay the down.
Huh. But I still wonder what happened on the previous kickoff that we had that just hit the ground and bounced,
right,
and they blew it dead.
Well, we're going to see a re-kick right here. How odd.
Same first quarter officiating crew we had last week.
Those guys made their way back over from Liberty Hill.
Just for this quarter.
This one's unexplainable. There was no penalty flag.
I'm telling you, they're just
doing a do-over.
Redo.
Officials just said we need a do-over on that.
Mulligan.
How odd. All right, we'll kick it again.
They purchased the mulligan at the golf tournament.
Might have been a good purchase. We'll see. The kicker's number 80, and he's not on our roster, so can't tell you who. They've got their names on the back of the jerseys, so we'll see if we can zoom in and figure out who he is. Oh, well, there's a high kick, really short, fielded at the 40. I tell you what, if he had not fair caught that, he might have been able to take it all the way to the house because the coverage team ran right past him.
Well,
they didn't realize it was that short.
I tell you, the kicker wound up like he was going to try to put it through the goalpost and only kicked it about 10 yards.
Yeah, I don't even know how you kick it that hard. Looks like Ramirez is his name. I don't know how you kick it that hard and it only goes that short of a distance.
Yeah, he's got the lob wedge out.
That was a Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, Like a change-up.
So the Hippos will take over at the 40-yard line after that strange little series. First and 10, 2 receivers left, 2 right. Doggett trying to set up a screen that time, and well read, well defended. Complete to Trey Pinelli, and it's going to be a 2-yard loss.
Well played there by Jacob Castillo. He read that the whole way. He was following Pinelli the whole time, and boy, I tell you what, Grayson's lucky he didn't jump in front of that and take it back for 6.
Yeah, it's just, to me, the Hippo offense, and maybe it's also play calling, they just can't figure out any plays that are going to work right now. Having a hard time dialing it in. Grayson looking left, caught. Oh, no, in and out of the hands of Trey Pinelli. Had it at the 43 and just couldn't bring it in, and even if he had caught it, he had a big lick put on him.
Problem is we had 2 receivers in the same spot there, and I don't know really which one he was trying to get it to.
Yeah, it just seems like there's just kind of a lack of communication, lack of focus, drop balls, people not in the right place.
Well, James Marquez gave him a big hit as soon as it hit his hands, and he dropped it.
Thought that could have been called a penalty because it was a little late on defenseless.
Oh, I was going to say good for the refs for not calling it.
So 3rd down and 12. Another blitz look. Here they come. Doggett stepping up, throwing deep. He almost intercepted. Intended for Dejan Lozano, number 11, on the coverage. And Grayson just overthrew him just a little bit. He had Dejan kind of wide open.
Yeah, he had
right
him if he would have
but,
put it on him. But there was a guy over the top and behind him. He kind of had to put that in the perfect spot. Just
so
missed it a little bit.
Almost picks that one off. But instead, the Hippos are going to go 3 and out and punt. Tell you what, Hippo offense is beginning to put some pressure on their defense to save the game for them at this point. Brock Bueno stands at his 28-yard line, bobbles it, gets the kick blocked, and it kicks out of bounds right at the 40-yard line. So Brock bobbled the snap, and by the time he could pick it up, he had some pressure, and the ball was tipped, and it goes about
0 yards.
I think it went out at where the line of scrimmage was, around the 40-yard line. So the Conquistadors are going to have great field position at the 40-yard line.
And Brock's upset. He's looking for some sort of roughing the kicker, but
Bryce,
that doesn't apply when it's tipped.
It was tipped, wasn't it, Bryce?
Well, I thought so. Hayden's arguing that it wasn't, but I don't know how the ball would have gone dead sideways if it's not.
Shoot, Brock better hope it was tipped.
So here we go. Put a man in motion from left to right. Handoff going to his right.
Flag down. It's going to be a legal procedure again. They got too many guys in the backfield.
Run out of bounds is number 24, Sergio Herrera. Picked up about 4 yards, but I think this one's going to come back 5. Tell you, they've had a little more success getting wide and turning it up than Liberty Hill did, and probably more than West Mesquite did a couple of weeks ago as well. Got a Hippo down on the far side.
Brock down over there.
If it's a cramp or I don't know. Was Brock in on that tackle that was out of bounds over there?
I don't know. He's not really where the tackle was.
So my friend Fabian from Del Valle just sent me a message, said that Raymond Montez, that was their quarterback last year. He's the quarterback at UTPB now, so he's up in Odessa.
Somebody had told me he went to UTPB, so
up there with Caleb.
Well, if he's any size like his brother that's at Colorado, he's a big old boy.
I remember talking about him and last year when we thought we were going to play them, and that was actually, that was a concern of ours, was the things he could do. But Ryan's right. If he's the quarterback there, then he's got Caleb Forrest, a Hutto Hippo, to throw to.
It's like maybe it was a little ankle with Brock. He's taking his shoes off like they're going to be taping him up.
So the penalty moves him back to the 45, first down and 15. Plenty of time for Carr, throwing deep, and just overthrows his receiver at the 10, 15-yard line. That was intended for number 4, Christian Ronquillo.
Yeah, good coverage there by
Ronquillo didn't get quite as open on that one as he did on the last series when he got a touchdown. Tell you what, that offensive line for Del Valle is giving Carr time to throw. When you consider this defensive line for the Hippos and how strong and big and what kind of future they all have, Carr has had a lot of time to throw the ball.
Yeah, you kind of wonder if we're getting a little shy of getting in there deep.
Yeah, because of that.
Having those little screens and crossings going under.
Yeah. So second down and 15, put a man in motion. Fake the handoff to the motion man. Handoff goes up the middle instead. Ball's on the ground,
fumble.
And it's still picked. And Landon Watson picks it up,
boy.
Running to his left at the 40, 45, midfield, and brought down. Well, the fumble was by Ponce, I believe. They faked the handoff on the sweep and then handed off to Ponce up the middle, and the ball was on the ground. Landon Watson picked it up,
and then it squirted loose. And
I think
Amir fell on it, which is interesting because he was laying on the ground and was able to throw it up, throw it up to Landon. So, I guess kind of a little bit of reversal from last week, except we didn't score a touchdown on it.
I'll tell you what, I think it was number 4 for the Conquistadors had to make that tackle on Landon, and
I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's not what he signed up for when he played receiver.
No.
Well, the Hippos take over 1st and 10 at midfield, so that's a good job by the defense to come away with a
that's a big stop there.
Big turnover. Now the Hippo offense needs to do something. Mekhi Kimball bounces it outside. Picks up about 2 yards to the 48 in Conquistador territory. And tell you, Mekhi, he just cannot he can't break one tonight.
I just can't find that crease like he's been, he's been getting bottled up the last couple games. It's just the difference is he's been able to kind of bounce around until he finds an opening. Tonight, there's just not an opening for him. They're doing a great job of keeping their gaps contained. And like Brad always talks about with our defense, they're not getting too far upfield and creating those lanes.
2nd down and 8. Snap back to Doggett, handoff to Kimball, trying to power up the middle, and he's wrapped up by about 4 or 5. Well, you had number 44, Calderon, number 23, I believe. 23 is Eddie Segala. Boy, they just wrapped Mekhi Kimball up and couldn't do anything.
Yeah, their front three move really well. Pretty good size, not huge, but
their
linebacker crew is really good.
They really are. So 3rd down and 7 for the Hippos. Snap back to Doggett. Get some pressure, throwing deep. He's got a man, Dejon Harrison at the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Hippos. That time Grayson put it exactly where it needed to be.
Find.
And Dejon had it on the left side, cut it back inside, and he was not going to be caught. And with 3:23 to go in the 3rd quarter, the Hippos have struck and stretched their lead back to 2 scores.
Yeah, cover 2 look there by A, and that's exactly how you beat it. You put that corner route right in between the corner and the safety over the top, and Dejon was able to catch it and then put one move, and once he puts a move on you, it's going to be hard to catch him.
Well, credit and kudos to Grayson. He's just kept hanging in there all night long and just keeps firing and finally connects with Dejon.
Hey, he's got 3 touchdowns and about 260 yards.
Snap back, hold down. Kick is up, and it finds its way through. It's good.
Had Grayson in there on the
holding
hole.
on that one, yeah.
Brock's over here. I guess he got taped up. Looked like it might have been an ankle. He's got it taped up, running down the sideline. It looks like he's good.
Well, 3:23 to go in the 3rd quarter. It's now Hutto 28, the Conquistadors 14. You're listening to Hutto Hippo Football on hipposports.com and the SHN Sports Network.
Hutto Family Eye Care has partnered with Hutto ISD for almost 10 years. Hutto Family Eye Care has been the leader and preferred provider of quality vision care products and personalized service to patients in Hutto. Their doctors use only the most advanced, state-of-the-art technology and eye care products available. Give your vision the level of care and attention it deserves. Hutto Family Eye Care on Exchange Boulevard, across the street from the post office.
So Hippo defense comes up with a turnover, and then the offense cashes it in on a 45-yard touchdown strike from Grayson Doggett to Dejon Harrison. 3:23 to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Hippos lead it 28-14. That was big, Bryce.
Yeah, that was a huge play, and just trying to sit there and pound the ball running with no success, and just a big play to Dejon.
That high pooch kick, fair caught at the 26-yard line. Number 22 on the fair catch. That's Avery Bowden.
Yeah, it looked like Brock's taped up and Toko Chootin, he's ready to roll. So,
hey, you want to hear a shocking Friday night college football score? If I told you Kansas.
Is it a game? Oh, I thought it was you were going to mention a game being played in Houston. I haven't looked at that
one.
Well,
too.
that one's interesting score too. But the Kansas is playing Boston College at Boston College. Hang on a second. Is that how much? Is that a final?
No, it's still beginning of fourth.
Yeah, Kansas leads at 41-24.
Wow.
The Les Miles era is well underway.
What about the the Washington State Houston
Yeah, that's
game?
the one you would expect
So
to
how
be
many
41-24, right?
6-7.
Oh man.
About to be halftime.
Hey, we've got a good Hutto punter down there.
Yes, we do. There was a good article. I sent you guys a good article.
that was real good.
About Oscar Dragicevic. First play from scrimmage was a run to the right by Gabriel Rodriguez, and the Hippo defense brings him down for about a 5-yard loss. Second down and 15. Ponce in the backfield with Carr. Gets some pressure, throwing deep left side's got a man, and just overthrows. Intended for number 10, Gabriel Rodriguez.
Boy, again, he had him, and if he connects on that, that's 6.
Yeah,
tell you what,
he ran a little corner route, and Pinelli just kind of got left on his heels and wide open and just missed the pass.
Now, this isn't the first game this year. Of course, Liberty Hill, you don't worry too much about throwing. West Mesquite, a couple of weeks ago, they had some receivers that had gotten behind our Hutto defenders, and their quarterback just couldn't connect. And you know, at some point, that's going to bite them if they're not getting heavier pressure on the quarterback. Third down and 15, snap back to Carr. This time throwing right side, picked off, intercepted by Brock Bueno at the 30, at the 25, and then brought down at the 20-yard line. What an interception.
Yeah,
man,
he
I
went
think
up about 2 feet.
I think his ankle's fine.
Yeah, I think so. He is fired up.
That was vertical right there. Carr was throwing it right side over near his sideline, and Brock I've never seen him jump that high. Went way up in the air, hauls it in, and returns it to the 20-yard line. So second possession in a row, the Hippo defense has come up with a turnover, and the offense is set up in great field position.
Yeah, and you kind of feel the tide's turning a little bit here. You maybe think the momentum's going to run out, and if we can put a score here, I think it's going to be kind of tough for the Conquistadors to come back from this one.
2:29 to go in the third quarter. Hutto leads at 28-14, and again, last possession, the Hippo defense got a fumble recovery, and then the offense was able to cash it in. This time they come up with an interception, and we'll see if the offense can make the Conquistadors pay for this one. Set 2 receivers. Brock is in at over in a slot receiver on the left side. Interesting. What, he makes that big interception and return, so he decides that, hey, I want to.
He feels good now.
Yeah, I guess
LaPlante
didn't like that because he's going to go ahead and call timeout and get him out of there. I don't think so, Bueno.
Yeah. Brock's just taking charge.
You know, and he can tell little cousin Grayson, hey, you throwing me this ball.
That's right. Yeah, for those that don't know, Brock Bueno and Grayson Doggett are cousins. Couple scores from our district. Cedar Park leads San Angelo Central 21-14 going into the fourth quarter, looks like.
Is it San Angelo or San Antonio?
I think it's San Angelo Central, isn't it?
What was that, a Georgetown?
Cedar Park.
Oh, okay.
21-14.
I saw a
Georgetown
was playing South San Antonio.
11-0.
Georgetown leads by the
I think it was
common
8-0
11-0 score.
11-0, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 8-0 at half when I checked. So
Mainer's taking the lead over Liberty Hill 20-14 at halftime. Doggett throwing over the middle, caught, touchdown. Nice. Boy, the Hippos came back from that timeout and quickly snapped the ball, and Grayson found Dejan breaking loose at about the 3-yard line, hit him in stride, and Dejan strolls into the end zone for the Hippo touchdown. So 2:22 to go in the third quarter, and the Hippos have kind of busted this one open now. Boy, that's I think Grayson now is kind of finding his throwing rhythm.
Yeah, and guys are catching it, which helps.
Yeah, good clean pocket, nice step up, and Dejan open across the middle.
Snap back, hold down, kick is up, and it is good. So 2:22 to go in the third quarter. It's now Hutto 35 and El Paso del Valle 14. Listen to Hutto Hippo Football on hipposports.com and the SHN Sports Network.
The Hutto Family YMCA, proud to partner with Hutto ISD. The Hutto Family YMCA is a center for fitness, family, and community. They provide Hutto residents with a state-of-the-art facility for programs and events that focus on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. The YMCA works with Hutto ISD to provide an after-school program and other events such as Friday Night Live for middle school students. Check out the Hutto Y or call 512-846-2360. The Hutto Family YMCA. Strength from within.
Hippos strike quickly after the Brock Bueno interception. Grayson Doggett hits Dejon Harrison. Dejon's third touchdown of the ball game, I believe, and they lead it 35-14. Tell you, during that pause, the Hippo band was going, and the Hippo student section is fired up right over here.
Yeah, I think they're glad to be back at home.
First home game of the year for the Hippos. There's that high kick, fielded at the 24-yard line. Well, they're calling it dead. I didn't see him signal for a fair catch. I guess he did.
Everything's a fair catch.
We don't know anymore what's happening on kickoffs.
You're not. It's like NFL preseason.
The vaunted North Texas fake fair catch.
Yeah, there you go. It's like the officials are just assuming a fair catch. Yeah, I want to make a mention, looking over here at our band and our students here and all that. You know, last year we had to make a move and put our band over in the end zone just because we were running out of room in our stands. And initially some folks didn't like it. I know some band parents didn't like it, but I tell you, it just brings a whole different look. The band points right over here at the crowd now. They point at the students, and the parents and everybody else can watch the band play and watch them get excited. It's just I kind of think it's changed the atmosphere a little bit. 1st and 10 for the Conquistadors. Faking a handoff, Carr dropping straight back, throwing right, and good catch. Boy. Nice catch by number 24, Sergio Herrera.
Tell you, Xavier Phoenix right there thought he got a hand on it, went by him.
I thought so too. Thought he was going to knock it away, but Herrera stuck with it, hauls it in. 9-yard gain, going to be 2nd down and 1 out to the 34-yard line. Ponce in the backfield with Carr. Put a man in motion, going from right to left. Fake the handoff to the motion man, handoff to Ponce, and he is buried in the backfield by number 24, Sadavian Robinson. Wow, for a loss of 4, so back to the 30-yard line. Wow, he got back there fast.
Kind of had a little Liberty Hill look to that play, and we know how to stop that.
Sadavian played that play like his big brother.
Any word on his big brother?
Well,
don't know if he's playing or not.
Yeah, last I heard, I don't think he's.
I tell you what, he's lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
If you saw that picture of that wreck that he had, Carr with a pass over the middle.
Had another one.
I tell you, the intended receiver was number 24, Herrera, and he wasn't even watching. And Brock Bueno almost picked that one off.
Brock was ready to score on that.
It hit him right between the 1 and the 0.
The worst 2 places to hit.
He makes the tough catches, and sometimes those easy ones doesn't quite haul him in.
Well, that ball, he was kind of looking at the receiver, and the ball got on him in a hurry.
Yeah, he was probably zeroed in on trying to tee off on that receiver if he'd caught it too. So now the Conquistadors will punt. Dejon stands back at his 40-yard line. Ooh, heavy pressure, gets it away. What a punt. My goodness, he's a punter. Fielded at the 30. And Dejon trying to get outside. There's going to be another block in the back, and this return is going to come all the way back. So Dejon takes it up to the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
But another block in the back, and an unnecessary one happened behind the play.
Is it a block in the back, or they might actually call legal blindside block? You know, that's that new rule this year where the guy can't be running and you're coming opposite direction. He's not looking. I'm wondering if they're going to get him for that.
It could be.
Yeah, I'm not real big on that call because that's like your favorite play in football.
Yeah,
right.
That's why you play football.
Of course,
that's why they say keep your head on a swivel, right?
We saw here on this field last year a kid.
Cool.
Yeah, that was
lucky to be alive.
That might have been why the rule was changed.
That could have been. That was a kid from
McCallum.
Yeah. which, crazy story, right? That turns out he ends up going to the hospital because of how hard the hit was and all that. And while he's at the hospital, they end up finding out he had some kind of a cancer that they never would have known had he not gone to the hospital because of the devastating hit put on him. It's amazing how things like that happen sometimes. God is very big.
Definitely watching him there.
So Hippos will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20 after the penalty. 1:11 to go in the third quarter. Hutto leads at 35-14. They've scored on 2 straight possessions after defensive turnover.
Let's see if we can go on a nice little long drive, but we haven't been able to really put the ball on the ground, which makes it hard to.
Yeah, a sustained drive would be nice.
It's been big play or bust.
Y'all talk about sustained drives. I'll take 80 right here.
80 on one play. Or
85 now.
95-yard touchdown run like Mackay got.
Take that all day, every day.
Well, they just marked it back another 5. Maybe they just didn't count right to begin with, so the Hippos will now start at their 15.
The classic 15-yard block in the back penalty.
Blitz look coming. Heavy pressure, and Grayson just – good idea by Grayson. He had a receiver that had kind of was on a fly route, and Grayson was just getting rid of the ball, and he just threw it to a hole in the middle of the field.
I think he's lucky they don't call intentional grounding right there.
Well, I think he could say that.
Well, you could say
that
anything.
Receiver was.
There wasn't really a receiver in the area.
He was expecting that receiver to come back to the ball.
Oh, that's what they all say.
2nd down and 10. Another blitz look coming from the Conquistadors, and they're coming. Quick pass. Oh, boy, well read by the Conquistador defender. Was that number 2? Yeah, Jacob Castillo. Quick little pass out to the left side to Dejon Harrison. And Castillo, I tell you, if he had been one step faster, he might have jumped in front of that and taken that one 20 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, good job there by Dejon to just hold on to the ball. Got hit as soon as he caught that thing.
So 3rd down, 7 yards needed for the Hippos. Down to 35 seconds to go in the third quarter. They lead at 35-14. Don't want to do something silly down here and give the Conquistadors the ball down deep. They disguise a blitz like every play, it seems like. Grayson with a straight roll to his right, looking, trying to throw deep, throws that one up for grabs. What a catch!
He looked.
Jay Lambert. Tell you, the defender, great coverage by number 11, which is Christian Lozana, and I think Gabriel Rodriguez, number 10. Both had great coverage.
Yeah, they were blanketing him, and Grayson just kind of threw it up.
Probably was not a smart pass by Grayson, but Jay Lambert saved him. Then the handoff goes to Mackay Kimmel across midfield, his biggest run of the day, down to the 45-yard line, pick up of 7. Yeah, Jay Lambert, that was kind of the the Mike Evans.
Yeah, well, they were trying to roll out and again get that pick route like they were running in the end zone earlier. And Grayson had, I think it was Dejon cutting early, and he didn't pull the trigger in time. And by the time he could throw the ball, he wasn't open and just kind of threw it up.
And I think he just has so much comfort with Jay Lambert that
he
knew 50-50, you get it or knock it down.
Yeah, that's not 50-50. It's just go get it.
Yep. Well, we've reached the end of the third quarter with that play, and it is now 1 quarter to go. Hutto leads at 35-14. Listening to Hutto Hippo Football on hipposports.com and the SHN Sports Network.
A-Plus Federal Credit Union is a longtime supporter of Hutto ISD. Earn cash back and support Hippo Nation with the student-designed A-Plus FCU Hutto ISD Hippo Debit Card. When you use your Hippo Debit Card, you and Hutto ISD both earn up to 10 cents with every purchase. Hutto ISD has received over $71,000 in cash back from A-Plus FCU members since August 2016. Stop by the Hutto branch on Ed Schmidt Boulevard to get your card and start earning today. Membership required. Insured by NCUA.
Ready to start the fourth quarter here at Hutto Memorial Stadium. Hippos will have it 2nd down and need about 3. Ball at the 45-yard line. You got to tell you, going into the break, you were talking about how Grayson is just so comfortable with Jay Lambert, and like I said, it's kind of like that old Johnny Manziel, Mike Evans connection. He would just throw it up, and Evans saved him a number of times.
Every time.
Throwing deep. Oh, that's got to be a hold, and it is. Pass was intended for Trey Pinelli going down the left side, and Pinelli
he had him beaten. I think who was the Gabriel Rodriguez thought that was kind of his only option. I'm not so sure that ball was going to be caught.
Might have been overthrown, but we might think that because Trey was held up.
Pretty good hold of him there at the 30, and man, we had laundry everywhere on that one.
I think more than one official saw that one.
Yeah, there was no question on that.
So that interference call will move it down to the 34-yard line, where the Hippos will have it now 1st and 10, just underway here in the fourth quarter, leading 35-14. Trying to run to the left side is Dejon Harrison. Bounces
Good job.
down around the 30. Ends up picking up about 5 yards. Going to give him the 29-yard line.
Yeah, just such a tough ask to try to get him down behind the line of scrimmage. He's got so many weapons, so many moves he can go to.
I'm sure glad I don't have to be out there trying to stop that anymore. Massive bodies.
Hey. You passed that up a long time ago. It's more fun to just stand there and talk about it.
Just watch it.
Second down and 4 from the 28-yard line. And tell you, Grayson fakes the handoff and actually keeps it.
Tell you what, they got to show it every once in a while, I guess.
He didn't gain anything, but I don't think he lost anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was not a big run, but hey,
no, but like you said,
throw the bait out there.
You gotta prove you can do it, right?
Not sure if that's proving you can do it though.
Well, proving that you might.
That you will do it.
He says his reads are always a give. So,
except that time. 3rd down and 5. Put a man in motion right to left. Grayson rolling to his left, and it's caught. Nice. There's his man. His safety valve, Jay Lambert. At the 24-yard line.
That is definitely a security blanket.
It really is.
Good job there by Jay Lambert to get in front of the chains before falling down.
Got to give the weekly shout-out to my mother listening up in Wichita Falls. I will tell you, though, Ryan, you probably can predict why she quit listening to us for just a little while.
I'm going to guess she was watching Mike Leach.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she is a Mike Leach apologist. Handoff going to Kimball. Bounces it outside. No, that is Kendall Williams. Kendall Williams gets it maybe the longest run of the night for the Hippos. Takes it down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line.
Well, I tell you, your mom in Wichita Falls got a little rain this morning.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they. I think they had some flood warnings.
Wow.
What is that?
Exactly, and that it's just a line of rain that sat there and just dissipated.
We need some of that. Blitz look coming from the Conquistadors again. This time Grayson delays the snap count. Well, here they come. Heavy pressure. Now he's rolling to his left. He is going to run this time at the 5. Spins out of a tackle. Fighting hard. And brought down at the 2-yard.
Of the coaches.
Break the throat of that game.
Our mics were not on during that, so I apologize for that. You couldn't hear us. But we we welcome you back into the Georgetown Jewelry Studio Broadcast Center. Stephen Strong with you alongside Justin Simmons. You were just listening to the Hutto Hippos as they take the 35-14 lead in that game over the El Paso del Valle team visiting. And we're going to get a Grand Endeavor Homes scoreboard update in just a few minutes.
Yeah, just right before we cut to that update, I was going to mention before we cut to our little break to come into this game, I mean, it was a little bit closer, and then Hutto's starting to pull away. So, again, it looks like it's going to be another impressive showing tonight for the Hippos of Hutto, Texas. Let's take a look at that Grand Endeavor Homes scoreboard update. Just want to give it one more refresh just to make sure we can give you the latest updates possible. So we'll start off with the games that are in the fourth quarter right now. We do know that it's Hendrickson and Westwood, and it's a tight one, 27-20 in favor of Hendrickson. Ooh, talking about tight. This one tied up at 21. Cedar Park coming into this contest 1-1 after a win from last week against San Angelo Central. They were ahead, was the Black Rain defense, but San Angelo Central having quite the second half. We'll have to come back to that game a little bit later to see how that score ends up. This one close to finishing up. Bastrop looks like they can run the table and go 3-0 as they lead 35-21 over Connolly, who unfortunately, despite playing some good football, may fall to 0-3. Vista Ridge and McNeil, 13-6A action. It's all Vista Ridge, 35-7. In TAPS action, Houston St. John's over Hyde Park, 27-0, entering the fourth quarter of play. This one, I can't say that it was necessarily a shocker, but now Waco La Vega starting to throw its weight around, so to speak, as they lead 21-7 against LBJ. But the game was 7-7 at the half. I was thinking LBJ might be able to pull the upset here, but so far not the case. Still some time to go in that one. Weimar against St. Michael's. Weimar leads 20-7. These games in the third, entering the fourth quarter of play. Live on SHN Sports, it's Stony Point and Leander, where the Tigers, looking to go 3-0, do lead over the Lions, who are 0-2, 45-7. We just mentioned Hutto and El Paso del Valle, where Hutto has that 35-14 lead. Westlake against Aikens. It has been all Chaparrals tonight in 25-6A as they lead 51-0. Lake Travis and Bowie, the big game tonight in 25-6A. It's been all Cavaliers this evening, 31-3. This has been a tight contest in 25-6A between the Maroons of Austin High and the Lobos of Lehman. It's 17-14. Maroons currently lead, but Lehman at home and coming off of a loss last week, and it was a tight loss, so we will have to see how that game ends up. Del Valle against Anderson, and don't you look now, but this is a battle between two teams that have started the season 2-0, and now the Trojans, who were behind early on, have the lead 10-7. The game on SHN Sports, Georgetown still leads 11-0. Carl Schoening on the call tonight over there in San Antonio. Liberty Hill and Manor, and the Mustangs, despite being 0-2, they continue to fight hard as Liberty Hill currently leads this contest by only one single point, 21-20. And, well, Stephen, my friend, it looks like it's a tough night for the Knights of McCallum right now, as they are currently losing to the 0-2 squad from Glenn, 28-7 in the third quarter of play. Just no offense to speak of so far for the Knights of McCallum. Salado beating Travis 50-0. Eastview currently defeating Northeast Early College Prep 54-0, and then Geronimo Navarro ahead of Marble Falls 23-0. We have a couple of other updates between Dripping Springs and New Braunfels Canyon. It's 41-35 in favor of Dripping Springs. New Braunfels Canyon is, well, they're in danger of dropping to 0-3 to start off their year. Austin Regents ahead of Fort Worth Trinity Valley 29-0. As Regents looking to go 2-1 on the season. And then our last updates for Pflugerville Elgin, it is 21-10 in favor of the Panthers, and Seguin ahead of the Buttons. And do I have to describe what a button is? Yes. In this case, okay, well, I'll say in a bit. Central Catholic from San Antonio, the Buttons are behind Seguin 16-14. Crockett still ahead of Maynard New Tech. Last score we got 22-6. A button. Now, the only reason I actually know the answer to this is because at my freshman year at Texas A&M, on the same floor, a really good friend of mine, Josue, happened to have attended San Antonio Central Catholic. And he told me the button that they're referring to, it's not like a button like on our shirt. It's like the button on the rattle of a rattlesnake.
So can you spell button for me?
Yeah, B-U-T-T-O-N.
Okay.
But a button.
Yeah, it's
like
a little.
It's like at the end piece
Yeah.
of the rattlesnake. It's rattle on their tail.
Right, ferocious.
Yeah, right. Crazy.
Scary.
But
It emits fear with the sound.
yeah. See, but there's a lot of interesting mascot names across just the state of Texas alone when it comes to Texas high school football. Obviously, we have the Hippos on the SHN Sports Network. New Braunfels has the Unicorns. You have the Punchers, the Mules. I'm trying to think of some other interesting names. I mean, Dragons is still pretty cool. I don't think any other team besides Round Rock in this area are named the Dragons.
Well, the Eagles of Georgetown still with that 11-0 lead. That's kind of funny because that's what we called. Carl called us at halftime, and he predicted that he thought that could end up the final. He said that both teams were doing pretty well defensively. Georgetown's offense had made a couple plays, but if they could keep the shutout, he didn't know that Georgetown would be able to.
Well, it's all about consistency. From week to week, you're going to have some games that are going to be tougher than others. And ultimately, good teams are able to find a way to win even when everything isn't clicking. And offensively, they're in for a tough night. It doesn't look like it's going to smooth out the way that they want to. But
especially when you consider, they got that safety, which is defensive points.
But I was like, defensively, if everything's clicking on that end of the ball, hey, let your defense win the game tonight. Understand that you have to do better offensively, work on it in practice, and hopefully come back the next week and play the game that you know that you're capable of playing. But, the lead's the lead right now, and to be honest, it's at least a touchdown. Yeah, two possession lead. I mean, they have to score 2 touchdowns just to get back into the game. So it works out so far for Georgetown tonight. But, still plenty of time left to see if something interesting happens. And
there's still plenty of time left here on SHN Football Friday for Week 3 as these games, some of them entering the fourth quarter now. And we're going to take a quick break for a message from our sponsors as we get you caught up and covered for all the action here in Central Texas. You're listening and watching the SHN Football Friday Week 3 on SHNSports.com. I was about to say, on the of glory. I was about to say of glory. You know what song I'm in? Isn't it go like, I'm on the edge of glory? No? I feel like it's been like old movies. No, you're not too old, you're too young. Wait, is this a Lady Gaga song? Why did I think it was old? Like, as in, like, I thought it was like.
Jimmy Jacobs' reputation for building beautiful custom homes in Central Texas speaks for itself. For over 30 years, he has been behind some of the most successful and sought-after new home developments in Georgetown. Grand Endeavor Homes represents a new era of elegant custom home building. Now joined by his son, Justin Jacobs, Jimmy has launched Grand Endeavor Homes to continue his legacy and reputation for custom homes in Georgetown and the surrounding areas. Visit GrandEndeavorHomes.com for details and directions to the model home. Central Texas High School football on SHN Sports is made possible by Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company. 3 words describe Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company: simple, reliable, and awesome. We support our community. From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products, Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company helps put your brand on your business. Get started on your project today by getting a quick and easy quote online at GeorgetownShirtCompany.com. 2019 high school football on SHN Sports is proudly presented by Georgetown Jewelry. Georgetown Jewelry is your trusted local jewelry store, family owned and operated since 2013. Whether you desire a one-of-a-kind custom piece or want to enjoy browsing our inventory of both unique and traditional jewelry and watches, stop by and see us at Georgetown Jewelry. We also specialize in jewelry repair and appraisals. For more information, please visit Georgetown Jewelry, located in the Williamsburg Village Shopping Center in Georgetown, or online at georgetownjewelry.com. Jimmy Jacobs' reputation for building beautiful custom homes in Central Texas speaks for itself. For over 30 years, he has been behind some of the most successful and sought-after new home developments in Georgetown. Grand Endeavor Homes represents a new era of elegant custom home building. Now joined by his son, Justin Jacobs, Jimmy has launched Grand Endeavor Homes to continue his legacy and reputation for custom homes in Georgetown and the surrounding areas. Visit GrandEndeavorHomes.com for details and directions to the model home.
I was just making sure I actually
figured
out where it was this time.
Of course, you can call us at that number above our heads, 512-508-8388. You can text us any input or coverage. You can also tweet us at SHN Sports, hashtag SHN Football Friday, as we monitor those throughout the night. You can tweet us at the Smash Simmons for Justin over here, or at Probably Strong for myself. And you know, we're in full swing here in week 3. Some of these games entering the fourth quarter. Some pretty tight contests, maybe surprisingly, and a lot of blowouts. Yeah, a lot of teams having a pretty good night.
Yeah, some of them getting a little out of hand. And let me give one more refresh here to the magic of that is this computer next to me, and let me see if I can get you a proper update here from Grand Endeavor Homes, our wonderful sponsors here on SHN Football Friday, live from the Georgetown Jewelry Studios in Georgetown, Texas. Again, glad that you can join us this evening as we bring to you all the action from across the Central Texas area and beyond, because we are extended a little beyond that here tonight. That is for sure. Let me give you the latest updates that I've been able to find, and I'm searching everything for you folks. So Twitter, all my contacts. I'm trying to get you the best information from the source. And that means having to text some people that I don't normally talk to during the year, except for football nights. So, hey, it's always good to speak to them. But last update that I have heard, it is the Bowie Bulldogs against the Lake Travis Cavaliers. And the Cavs, they just continued to pile on the points here tonight against the Bulldogs. And it's 45-3 now. That was my last update from just about 2 minutes ago. I also did see an update where the score has increased in favor of Austin High here tonight. I don't think it has updated on our end. They were up 17-14, but that game has really swung in favor of the Maroons against the Lehman Lobos, as they were able to score on a 53-yard touchdown pass. Was the last information that I received about 5 minutes ago. So that was the latest score-wise, because the score that I'm seeing in front of me right now, it just hasn't updated to the extension of the Maroons score. But what else I can give you right now is the score has changed between Westwood, the Warriors, and Hendrickson. It's 28-27, as the Hawks had the lead since the beginning of this game and now find themselves on the outside looking in and possibly losing this close contest. Cedar Park, San Angelo Central, that game still at 21-all from our latest update. Vista Ridge is still ahead of McNeil, 35-7. Houston St. John's, well, they are pitching the shutout, 27-0. As are Austin Westlake, 58-0 over Aikens. Also in 25-6A, Del Valle, Anderson, the Trojans, and the Cardinals. Well, this is going to be an exciting game till the very end as they go into the fourth quarter tied at 10. Crockett and Maynard New Tech, we were awaiting an update to this game. It has been all Crockett as they search for their first win this evening of the season, 48-6. Weimar still leading St. Michael's 20-7 in TAPS action. Hutto ahead of El Paso del Valle here on this SHN Sports Network. That score now 38-14 in favor of the Hippos as they look to start the season 3-0. Let's talk about Georgetown and South San Antonio, as Carl Schoening on the call that game, and you heard it from Carl a little while ago, right, Stephen? He said that it was a tight defensive contest and he wouldn't have been surprised if the scoreline stayed this way. Well, the scoreline does remain 11-0, but Georgetown could possibly go 3-0 with a win here tonight.
I might be asking Carl, like what lottery ticket numbers I should buy after tonight.
Seriously, there's still going to be time. I got to get some gas on the way home. Maynard, Liberty Hill. If you had asked anybody about the possibility of this outcome coming in favor of the Mustangs going into this contest, I think most pundits would have told you that it probably wouldn't happen, despite Liberty Hill losing by a good handful of points to the Hippos last week. But don't look now, but the 0-2 Mustangs are currently ahead of what was one of the perennial favorites coming into the season to make a deep state playoff run, as the Mustangs of Maynard had 27-21 over the Panthers of Liberty Hill. And still remains a tough night for the Knights of McCallum, as they are currently behind Glenn 28-7. Travis still searching for some positives tonight as they are behind Salado 50-0. Eastview, that game also here on SHN. Last we checked, 54-0 against Northeast, the former Reagan High. Pflugerville and Elgin, that's been an interesting contest as the games have gone back and forth. This game's all in the third, 28-24. Geronimo Navarro, another team tonight, pitching the shutout, 23-0 over Marble Falls. Dripping Springs and New Braunfels Canyon, last update we have is at halftime in that contest. It's 41-35 in favor of Dripping Springs. Austin Regents looking to go 2-1 as they currently lead Fort Worth Trinity Valley 29-0. And then we talked about the Buttons a little while ago. They are still behind Seguin, and Seguin looking to get their first win of the year, 16-14. That last update, though, coming at the end of the second quarter, so they should be coming out at halftime soon in that contest. We do have some final scores from tonight, so these are our first Friday night finals on SHN Football Friday. Vandergrift 28-7 over Cedar Ridge as the Vipers improved to 3-0 on the year. This game finishing up on the SHN family of networks as the Stony Point Tigers, they roll 66-14 over the winless Leander Lions. Again, 66-14. Bastrop defeats Connolly 35-21. The Bears 3-0. Connolly, they have been in some tough battles this year, but they fall to 0-3. Waco La Vega gets the win against the Jaguars as they defeat LBJ 21-7. And then we mentioned these scores very early in our broadcast tonight, but back to Thursday, 25-0 Weiss able to defeat Rouse, and then Cedar Creek on SHN. First ever 3-0 start in school history as they defeated Fredericksburg. The Billies going down 20-12. And then the newly named Novato Vikings, the former Lanier High School in Austin, getting their first victory with the new name, 49-0 over Eastview Memorial. And that will do it for your Grand Endeavors Homes scoreboard update.
And a couple of updates on your update of the Grand Endeavor home score update.
It's a lengthy update.
Eastview has gone final as they take the victory 61-7. There was a running clock there in the fourth quarter, and they do come out with the dominant 61-7 victory over Northeast, former Reagan High School. And also we have an update on the Gerald Cougar game that we mentioned at halftime, as we got the update from Wally Harmon over there in Gerald, as Gerald's on the road. They trailed big time. I think it was 29-0 at halftime. They're in the fourth quarter right now. Gerald trailing Risel 29-34. And we're actually going to try to tune into this game live as to see what's going on as Gerald tries to come back epically there on the road as they have the ball here in the fourth quarter. See Wally Harmon on the call with you on SHN Sports.
Welcome back to Riesel, Texas, for the Gerald Cougar football game. We're in the fourth quarter. 6:48 left on the clock. The Cougars trail by 5, 34-29. They're driving. They got the ball 2nd and 10 from their own from the Riesel 16. Rodriguez fakes the handoff, draws it back out, and he's going to get back to the 15. Mark down at the 15-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd and 9 here for the Cougars from the 15 of Riesel. Rodriguez pulled it out of Warren's belly and kept it up the middle and got hit pretty quick there just for the 1-yard gain. So now the offense got to push. 3 receivers left, 1 right. He's going to hand off to Warren around the left side, outside the hash marks to the numbers. He cuts it up and into the end zone, and here comes a late flag from the backside. And it's going to be a holding from the back referee. The chairs from the near side. Warren made it all the way around the outside from the 15, outside the 10, and punched it into the end zone. You saw the after boosters kick in there, and he punched it in the end zone.
Hold on, you got 2 plays. I know.
But then the penalty came from the back referee, and he throws the holding penalty. That's going to be 10 yards, so it's going to bring up 3rd and 19 from the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that's definitely a great run by Warren, but I'm so confused on how this back referee back here towards the 30-yard line can throw that flag right next to that line judge over there.
And he threw it a good 15, 20 yards, and the line judge didn't throw a thing. Rodriguez takes a shotgun snap. He's sitting back. Schomburger across the middle, wide open. Nope, over Schomburg, into the hands of Crathers for a touchdown. Joe Cougars! What a job. Schomburger realized the ball's over his head. He doesn't go for the ball, and Crathers right behind him for the touchdown pass, a 25-yard touchdown pass from Rodriguez. And quickly the Cougars strike again, and the Cougars have taken the lead 35-34 with 5:55 left here in the ball game. And Coach Amos Davidson's going to take a timeout here, going to set up. They've got a 1-point lead. Do you take a 2-point conversion, or do you kick the field goal? So Coach Amos Davidson with 5:55 on the clock is going to take the first time out of the half for the Gerald Cougars. We'll mark that down and make sure we keep track, because I think those are going to come into play here in the last 5 minutes, Sterling. What a great job. Rodriguez hitting Crathers on that touchdown, a 25-yard touchdown pass.
Hey, check. Let's get outside. Let's go left.
So now the Cougars are going to go for
Let's go left, right, run eights. Let DJ. Yeah, left, right, eights.
Go for the 2-point conversion and try to make it a 3-point game. You kick the field goal, the extra point, to make it 2 points. The field goal beats you anyway. So you got to take this chance here, the 2-point play, as they confer during the timeout. Coach Davidson on the sideline talking to the line judge. But the Cougars will go for 2 here and try to make it a 3-point game, to where they have to score a touchdown to beat them. A field goal only ties the game up for the Indians. And so the pressure then really goes onto the backs of the Indians. And so The Cougars will set from the 3-yard line. Rodriguez in the backfield in the shotgun. 3 receivers right, one to the left, one to the right. Hands it to Warren around the outside. And Warren's going to cruise into the end zone. He takes the handoff on the sweep left, gets outside the numbers, and no one's going to catch Warren. I tell you what, his speed is just phenomenal. It is fun to watch him get around that corner and just see him try to chase it. Like you said, both sides of the ball, the pace of the game that the Cougar offense is playing at, the Indians are getting worn out. And so the Cougars take a 3-point lead, 37-34. What a change, Sterling. 26-6 at halftime. And we're sitting here 37-34 with 5:55 left in the ball game. The Cougars on top.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the momentum has definitely swung after that halftime talk that the Cougars have had in that locker room. They start off, they're slow, sloppy. Everything has turned around now. It's looking up.
What a great momentum swing for these Cougars. 31 points scored so far here in the second half to only 8 for the Indians. What a turn of play here for the Cougars, coming out and just firing on all cylinders. And so now the defense has to step up again and hold the Indians one more time. So Jesus Perez, number 6, the kicker, tees it up at the 40-yard line.
I still think it's nice to see McClintock still back there at the 5-yard line ready to take this kickoff.
Jesus Perez kicks off. He kicks it high and deep. McClintock's going to field it at the 10-yard line. He's going to take it there, go to the right, past the hash, into the middle of the field to the right hash marks. He stopped. Now he breaks free, and he's taken down about the 26-yard line.
Oh, he just threw a freaking punch.
And, oh, wow, flags galore just fly. It looks like number 84. He took his helmet off. There's another flag. It looks like 30 yards of penalties coming on the Indians. I tell you what we said, the pressure is now on the back of the Indians. And, man, 2 huge mistakes.
And that's what, especially these high school kids have to understand, like, even though the tension is high, you still have to keep your head on straight. You can't let stupid penalties ruin the momentum that you might have gotten back.
McClintock returned it from the 10-yard line to about the 26-yard line. And so
are we having a re-kick?
So the 26-yard line, they're having to figure out all the penalties. So the flag comes in. It looked like number 84 for the Indians threw a punch. Flags galore come out, and then 84 takes his helmet off, and another flag comes out. So potentially 30 yards worth of penalties. Unfortunately, they don't have 30 yards worth of field to take away from them. They only got back to the 26. So we'll see what they do. One will get them back within the red zone, and then one will be half the distance. So it may start about the 10-yard line. The 5 we'll see here as the referee comes across the field about the 43.
I didn't think we were offside. He calls it.
Offsides on the kicking team. Dead ball. Personal foul on the receiving team. That was after the play.
That should be 2 penalties on them. 1 for the personal foul and 1 for the helmet.
So now we'll see as they try to straighten it out. Coach Steffelmeyer and the referee are meeting about the 38-yard line on the near side here. Number 84 quickly pulled back by one of the coaches.
Yeah, he's done. 84 is done.
Get off the sideline.
He's
gone. He has to be off the sideline.
So we'll see what happens. When he threw the punch, multiple officials saw it happen right in the middle of the field. It wasn't a crowd around him, and multiple flags came out. So we'll see what happens here. They're trying to get it straightened out.
Tell him it ain't me.
So we got a false start. Illegal offsides on the kicking team. After the play, there's a personal foul on the Indians. After that, and he has been ejected. So number 84 will have to leave the sideline. He has been ejected from the football game. So now the Cougars will have to kick off again.
Two things we have to figure out.
But now they've got him. Okay, so you're going to mark the 5 yards off on the offsides on the kicking team. So back to the 35. But then the unsportsmanlike conduct on number 84 for the Indians, that's going to give 15 yards to the Cougars. So it looks like Jesus Perez will be kicking off from midfield.
So where are we getting the ball? We're not on the re-kick. Huh?
So number 84 has been ejected at the 5:45 mark
Other 45?
of the ball game here in the fourth quarter.
Should have been 2 personal fouls. He got 1 for the punch and 1 for the helmet.
Why are we going that direction? What are we doing?
They mark off 5 and then 15.
So we're still trying to straighten it out here in the Georgetown Jewelry fourth quarter. So the Cougars, we did the official walk-off. We went to the 40. He actually walked back to the 35 and then 15 yards forward back to midfield and handed the ball to Jesus Perez to tee up. So unfortunately for the Cougars,
Are they thinking?
I think we're going to onside it. Kick it. Yeah.
Cougars actually kind of get punished on this because
Pop it up. That's a good.
had the penalty occurred just on the
Pop it. Tell him to kick it normally. Kicks it up pretty normal.
Jesus Perez approaches. He's going to do a little pooch over the left side. You want it to stay in bounds, and it does not. Ball goes out about the 19-yard line, and the flag is thrown there.
Jim is just jogging.
They're going to take 5 from there.
So it'll give the Indians the ball.
They're going to take 5 from there.
They're either going to make them kick it again. They're going to make them kick it again. It looks like Coach Stippelmeyer waving it back.
That close. They've got 1 guy over there, Jesus.
So the kick goes out of bounds. So another flag here. 5:45 left on the clock. No one touched the ball as it took a Indian bounce.
Just kick it on the number, dude.
And so now
No, they're going to take 5 from there.
Where?
the Indians are going to accept the penalty. So it should be 5 yards from the 19-yard line where the ball went out of bounds. So it'll be at the 24-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10. So of all this, when McClintock returned the first kickoff before the flags, he was stopped at the 26. As we start the possession here, it's 1st and 10 from the 24. So a 2-yard gain for the Cougars after all of the penalties. And so it's 1st and 10, 5 minutes, 45 seconds.
So I'd definitely say it's safe to say that that was one hectic kickoff.
Oh, yes. That was riddled with multiple flags. So we got a 1st down and 10.
We have 10 people. Oh, never mind.
3 receivers left for the Indians. 1 receiver right. McClintock in the shotgun. He'll take it, put it in the stomach of Blake's. They run together. Now he lets go, and Blake's taken down at the 30-yard line. That'll be a gain of 6 yards. Bring up a 2nd and 4.
That's all they're doing.
I think they're going to try.
That little miscommunication right there, you could definitely see that's probably going to be taking a toll on that offense.
Got to watch that ball. They're lucky that nothing popped out there. It was like they were attached, and McClintock didn't let go. They ran together for 3 yards before he finally let go of the ball. And then Blakes gets taken down at the 30 for the gain of the 6. 2nd and 4 for the Indians. McClintock back in the shotgun. 1 right, receiver right, 3 left. He'll come across on a sweep to the left. And he gets outside the 30 to the 32, and now he's drugged down at the 34.
They have 2 timeouts left, I believe.
McClintock taken down. And they'll spot it now at the 35-yard line. Right
That's
there.
definitely a generous spot right there.
The far side of the field marked him at the 34. The near side here, our near side line judge, gave him the 35. So it'll be 1st and 10 Indians from the Gerald 35-yard line. You have 4 minutes, 52 seconds on the clock and counting left here in the ball game. Gerald leads the ball game 37 to 34. 31 points scored here in the second half by your Gerald Cougars. Only 8 by the Riesel Indians. They have the ball. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. McClintock, sweep right. He pitches off to the right to Blakes. Back at the 30, 35, 36. Now to the 40. He's stacked up and drugged down. Ball came out, and he's blown dead at the 40. So it'll be a gain of 5 for the Indians.
Okay, yeah. I know. I'm just saying.
A little different wrinkle there. We haven't seen that all night for the Indians. A pitch, a little option there by McClintock. And so McClintock pitches out to Blakes, and he makes the run there for a gain of 5 to bring up 2nd and 5.
Well, no, if they put 2 people over there.
And that's definitely a good read by the defense, too. And when Blakes gets to that 40-yard line, it can't be brought down. You just hold him up until you get other people over there to help you out with that.
McClintock back in the shotgun. Same formation constantly. 3 receivers left. 1 right. Quick fake pass. He's going to go deep. McClintock heaves it up, and it's going to be wide open. An interception by the Cougars, taken down at the 25-yard line. No one is near anyone, and a flag comes in from the back judge. Have no idea what he threw. He threw it at the 30-yard line.
We were nowhere near anybody.
No idea what could have been called.
No way. No way.
He's pointing at them.
If this is called pass interference on Gerald, I'm going home early.
Pass interference on the offense. Oh, I was like you. This may have been a short night on the radio. It may have become unplugged. So at 3:39 in the fourth quarter, Gerald makes the interception. McClintock, that's kind of been what I've said all night, Sterling. He's not throwing to a point, to a pass, a receiver. He's throwing it up, and his receivers have gone and gotten it and taken advantage of some mistakes. Right there, the receiver had no idea where it was, and Gerald went and got it.
Yeah, you could definitely tell. There's a different switch from the receivers and McClintock both. They start off on the same page, and now it's just starting to get a little sloppy out here.
Gerald, 3 minutes, 39 seconds left in the ball game. Gerald has the ball at their own 24-yard line to start the possession. Rodriguez in the backfield. He takes a snap. Quick pass to the left. Caught. And he breaks a tackle for a first down. Ramon Rodriguez breaks free. Gets up to the, let's make it the 36-yard line. First and 10. For the Cougars, great pass and catch by Ramon Rodriguez. Heron Rodriguez to Ramon for the first down. And the Cougars will take their time here. They got the play clock to mess with, but not slowing down and just hand it off. A quick pass there to kind of change it up, even when you're just trying to run this clock now with a 3-point lead.
And I want to make it clear that even though it is starting to get a little sloppy on Riesel's side of the ball, Gerald has definitely taken advantage of these opportunities.
Absolutely. Rodriguez back in the shotgun at the quarterback. He'll put the ball in the belly of the running back, Warren. Warren around the right side. He cuts in, makes a cut. Back 40, 50, 45, 40. Takes a shot and drug out of bounds at the 24-yard line. So down to the 23-yard line, or correction, the 33-yard line. Warren, what a great run. But we got a man down for the Indians. I tell you what, Warren lowered his head, his shoulder, and ran through that Indian ball player, that defensive player, and he has not gotten up. What a job by Warren. But now we've got a man down, a flag on the play. It's going to be a holding on Gerald, thrown by the near side line judge again. And so now we'll figure out. It's going to be a spot from the spot of the foul, but it's well past the first down marker. He's a good 12 yards past it. So no matter what, it should be a first down for Gerald. We're going to take a quick break here while we tend to the player on the sideline. All the players now kind of backed off and on a knee. So we'll bring you back to SHN Sports here in a minute after this break. All right, so it's going to be 1st and 10 here as we come back to the ball game here in Riesel, Texas, home of the Indians. It's going to be a holding on the play, but Warren took the
And pull off the miraculous comeback. The big score update that we have for you, 8:39 left to go in the fourth quarter play. Latest update between Liberty Hill and the Manor Mustangs. Manor 0-2 going into this game against a 1-1 Liberty Hill side that had just been thrashed against the Hutto Hippos last week. They have fought their way back into the lead, 28-27 in the fourth quarter. 8:39, the latest update that we have for you when it comes to that score. But we do have plenty of games that have gone final already this evening, and let's see if we can give you a good idea of how that has actually played out. Let's go ahead and start with 13-6A. Vandergrift beat Cedar Ridge 28-7. Westwood came from behind on the road and was able to get the victory over the Hawks of Hendrickson, 28-27. Tigers beat the Lions on SHN tonight, 66-14, as Leander falls to 0-3. Stony Point now 3-0. The Bastrop Bears, they go to 3-0 as they are able to defeat Connolly, unfortunately, and they have played some really good football this year. They just have not been able to get the W. They fall to 0-3, 35-21. Also in 13-6A, Vista Ridge and McNeil. That score final, 42-14. Houston St. John's beating Hyde Park in TAPS action, 34-6. The Chaparrals of Austin Westlake able to beat Aikens High as they romped them, essentially, 58-7. Austin High, it was a really tight game between them and the Lehman Lobos tonight, but the Maroons coming on strong late in the fourth quarter, and they walk away with a 38-14 victory. Crockett High School defeats Manor New Tech 48-6. Salado over the Rebels of Travis 50-0. Waco La Vega beating the Jaguars of LBJ 21-7. You saw it and heard it here on SHN Sports in Eastview, just doing work against Northeast College Prep, 61-6. Yes, 61-6. Austin Regents beating Fort Worth Trinity Valley, 39-7. Fort Worth finally scoring in the fourth quarter. And then the games on Thursday, Weiss over Rouse 25-0. Cedar Creek 3-0 for the first time in school history, defeating Fredericksburg 20-12. And Navarro, the former Lanier High School, getting their first win as the Navarro Vikings, 49-0 over Eastside Memorial. We'll come back real quick to some of the games that we do have here in progress. The Hutto game already gone final, 35-14, your final there. Hutto, the Hippos with the win. Lake Travis well on their way to victory, as well as they were leading last checked 45-10. Del Valle and Anderson still trying to get another update. Last update we have 34 seconds into that game. Anderson was ahead 20-17. There might be a possibility that that one has gone final as we have finished our conversation here. We look at Georgetown in South San Antonio, and that game, Carl Schoenig, who was on the call, told us it could possibly stay at 11-0, and so far so good. He has been correct.
It actually has. It's quite a game now. It's 11-8.
Now 11-8.
South San Antonio trying to mount the comeback there. So I don't think I'm gonna buy any lotto tickets as Carl suggests tonight.
Well, they haven't lost yet. They're still in the lead. Are the mighty Georgetown Eagles here on the road, actually, in San Antonio tonight? McCallum, they've been able to get another point on another touchdown, but still trail Glenn 28-14 tonight. Pflugerville, wow, Pflugerville. Well, they had the lead against Elgin on the road, and then the Wildcats have stormed back and now taken a 37-28 lead, and that game close to going final, and that will be an impressive win for Elgin as they search for their first victory of the year. Geronimo Navarro looks like they have won their game 33-7 over Marble Falls, and St. Michael's, well, it looks like they're going to drop to 1-2 as Waymar leads 41-7. That game, less than 5 minutes remaining in the fourth, and that is our Grand Endeavor Homes scoreboard update for this Friday night. As we have already mentioned, many of the games have gone final, Stephen, but still a few, including our hometown Georgetown Eagles still battling at the current moment.
Well, I mean, so a couple takeaways from that general scoreboard update, Grand Endeavor home sponsored, of course, that we just had is how hard it is to actually finish a game with a shutout. Because we had multiple of
Oh yeah.
There were like 3 or 4 of those games that were shutouts that have now given up a score. Obviously, a lot of those teams still on their way to victory, but I mean, if you as a defense you crave a shutout, and I think it's impressive, or it shows that how tough it is to actually execute one and never let a team score anything.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you have to remember, just because the other team is getting shut out doesn't mean that they're not trying. It's just sometimes the game plan isn't there, and that's on the coaches. Sometimes the effort isn't there, and that's on the players. It can really go a multitude of ways, but sometimes those adjustments can be made during halftime. Everything kind of settles in. You see something in the scheme offensively, and you can key in on it as a defensive player or as a defensive coordinator. Or maybe you notice a gap in their defensive zone. Maybe you see weak side coverage and maybe it's looking really weak and you want to test that as the offensive coordinator. Or you notice that as a player and you can relay that information to your coordinator and hope to get the game plan change coming out in the second half. Like what we've seen with Gerald tonight, they've had some impressive, so far an impressive showing as they were able to come back from being shut out and now able to come back and look like they might be able to pull away with the victory in this game going final. So we'll add on to that Grand Endeavor Homes scoreboard update as we get, wow, Carl was somewhat right.
Yeah, I mean, a defensive battle indeed. The final does end up being 11-8. Just a field goal victory there for Georgetown. And, I mean, 2 of those points coming on a defensive safety. I look forward to hopefully chatting with some of the, Carl and David again as they had the call there in South San Antonio for the Georgetown game. And that Gerald game that we let you listen in on right before we came back. Gerald, of course, down 29-0 at halftime. We kind of talked about it. I mentioned, I think, don't count them out yet. I think they have a chance to come back, and they have, as you mentioned, 37-34 right now as they are in the fourth quarter. I believe about 4 to 3 minutes left in this game, and just an impressive fight shown by Gerald as they have the ball now as well. And now that we've kind of covered a lot of these finals, let's rejoin this game in progress. And actually, we won't need to join it because it has just gone final. So Gerald with the unbelievable, comeback victory over Riesel, stunning the home crowd there with the final going 37-34. Cougars with the epic comeback to get their victory.
Congrats, Cougars. Wow.
That is their second victory of the season. We talked about they had a kind of up and down few weeks to start off the season. They lost big in game 1, came back game 2, played really well, kind of felt better about themselves and felt good moving forward. And they came out tonight and really struggled in that first half, getting shut out and getting blown out. That as a final score is a blowout.
Yeah, I have to admit, I wasn't looking forward to having to read that score later on just because it looked like it was going to be another dismal showing for them. And that's no fault to the kids or the coaching staff. Everybody's trying hard, but when you're not getting the execution that you want and you see a scoreline like that, you start to panic because we're 3 games into the season. You're only going to play 10 games, and you have to get ready for district play. And I understand that would cause some concern, especially if you're a Gerald fan. But the fact of the matter is that they were able to come back with this monumental comeback tonight. And the most important thing about victories like this is that they will be able to build on this momentum, theoretically speaking, of course. And this should really set the tone for the rest of the season for them. Because if you know when times get tough throughout the rest of the year, that they can look back at this exact situation when they were down at the half with nothing on the scoreboard to show for it, and that they have the ability to come back and rally and get a victory even on the road. If you're a player on that team, if you're a head coach, any part of the staff, what have you, you have to feel that you can go up against anything after pulling off the victory that they were able to pull off here tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned on the road is one of the most impressive aspects of that, and I mean, you could hear it on Wally's call there on the road. You know, some of the home crowd there, it sounded like a good turnout. It sounded like a hostile environment.
I was going to say, you could hear some of the coaches going at it. I was like, they're pumped.
So, definitely an impressive victory and a good stepping stone moving into week 4 for the Gerald Cougars. And hopefully we'll get to talk to Wally Harmon later in the evening for his take on, man, what a crazy game that was.
And those are the fun games to be at, and those make the trip home even more fun. Sometimes, I'm telling you, it's a lonely bus ride on the way back from a long-distance trip after a tight loss. But it's even more fun when you have one of those long trips and you get a win like this, because you can celebrate on that bus ride the whole night.
So we are going to take a quick break for a message from our sponsors as we get a couple of the last final scores in from around the area. All of the SHN games in the area are now final as well, as we updated you on. So we will take a quick break. You're listening to SHN Sports Football Friday, live on SHN Sports.
Jimmy Jacobs' reputation for building beautiful custom homes in Central Texas speaks for itself. For over 30 years, he has been behind some of the most successful and sought-after new home developments in Georgetown. Grand Endeavor Homes represents a new era of elegant custom home building. Now joined by his son, Justin Jacobs, Jimmy has launched Grand Endeavor Homes to continue his legacy and reputation for custom homes in Georgetown and the surrounding areas. Visit GrandEndeavorHomes.com for details and directions to the model home. Central Texas High School football on SHN Sports is made possible by Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company. 3 words describe Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company: simple, reliable, and awesome. We support our community. From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products, Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company helps put your brand on your business. Get started on your project today by getting a quick and easy quote online at GeorgetownShirtCompany.com. 2019 high school football on SHN Sports is proudly presented by Georgetown Jewelry. Georgetown Jewelry is your trusted local jewelry store, family owned and operated since 2013. Whether you desire a one-of-a-kind custom piece or want to enjoy browsing our inventory of both unique and traditional jewelry and watches, stop by and see us at Georgetown Jewelry. We also specialize in jewelry repair and appraisals. For more information, please visit Georgetown Jewelry, located in the Williamsburg Village Shopping Center in Georgetown, or online at georgetownjewelry.com. Jimmy Jacobs' reputation for building beautiful custom homes in Central Texas speaks for itself. For over 30 years, he has been behind some of the most successful and sought-after new home developments in Georgetown. Grand Endeavor Homes represents a new era of elegant custom home building. Now joined by his son, Justin Jacobs, Jimmy has launched Grand Endeavor Homes to continue his legacy and reputation for custom homes in Georgetown and the surrounding areas. Visit GrandEndeavorHomes.com for details and directions to the model home.
and welcome back to the Georgetown Jewelry Studio here for SHN Football Friday, Week 3. A lot of the games have gone final, as we've covered, and we actually have one more that just went final a few moments ago.
Yeah.
A battle.
What an interesting contest. It was 28-21 for San Angelo Central over Cedar Park, and we have mentioned previously on this broadcast throughout the last couple of weeks that maybe this wasn't going to be the year for the Black Rain. They had struggled in their opening game. They had success last week, but it just wasn't convincing. Not the same Cedar Park that we're used to seeing. Well, that has pretty much changed here tonight, and given the information that we were given, the word that they used, not our word here, but miraculous comeback here for Cedar Park tonight as they came back and beat San Angelo Central. And wow, I can't believe this was actually the score. 41-35 in overtime. Apparently the Timberwolves were down 2 scores with less than 3 minutes left and still were able to force overtime where they ultimately became the victor. It became a battle of attrition, which sometimes you're going to find out which team wants it more. And tonight that team was Cedar Park. So congrats to the Timberwolves on a well-fought victory that they were able to force into overtime. That would have been a nice emotional win regardless there, just to be able to come back and at least force overtime. But to walk away with the win, that's huge for the Timberwolves. And we talked about Gerald just a little while ago as they were able to get their miraculous comeback. So yeah, like you mentioned before, Stephen, some blowouts and then some amazing comebacks that some of these kids will remember for the rest of their lives, and their parents and the people that were there to witness it, and some of you all that were able to listen to some of these games on SHN Sports tonight. Just some memories to take home with you and to put in that mental scrapbook, so to speak, about that moment. So some really cool things happening this evening.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned all the kids and people who were there remembering it for the rest of their life, and that is so accurate. Even as a broadcaster, I mean, those calls that you have and during moments like that, just being a part of it, you'll remember for the rest of your life. I mean, I'm sure Wally will attest to that tonight if we get a chance to talk to him. But I mean, what a game he called and a game he got to be a part of and witness there on the road as well. I mean, there was a game I called my first year with SHN, probably like this week 6. It was Gerald taking on. Wish I could remember the other team, but
I thought you were going to say, don't tell me because I'm going to forget. So I'm not going to tell you anything until you come to it on your own.
But the game was close throughout. Gerald actually had gone down in the first half and gone down early. And then in the second half, they kind of launched a comeback, and it was their 6th straight win of the year. And they went on to go 10-0, but that was one of the toughest games they had that year. And I remember the exact play with the big back that they had at the time. His name was Chris, and Tony Brown dropped back and threw it, and it was a great play design. And
yeah,
he was wide open in the back of the end zone to score to win that game. And I mean, I can play that in my mind every time, and I'm sure everyone there and all the players that and the kid who actually caught in. They can relive that too.
Oh, definitely. If you remember, trust me, those kids remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you never forget, if anything, and I think some of you people out there can attest to this, some of you ex-jocks out there, ex-star athletes. Your glory only gets better as you age, because that 1-yard touchdown suddenly becomes a 15-yard touchdown, becomes a 50-yard pickup fumble and traverse through the opposing defense touchdown, turns into a 86-yard hook and ladder reverse touchdown to win the state title.
Right.
Yeah, you just seem to get better, as the decades go by.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why we play the game and train and work as hard as we do throughout the week. I say we. I just broadcasted this.
I was gonna say I think you were working hard this week. I know I was working hard.
Oh, yeah.
Had to get prepared.
I
You know,
didn't,
had to look at
I
some of the
didn't
teams.
do any 2-a-days or drive downs or
Oh, I mean, I didn't do any drop downs, but I did 2-a-days. I had to cover some of them, so I was out there. My tan didn't hold as well as I thought it was, but to each their own.
Solid. As we get started, we're around 10:35 now. A lot of these games have already gone final. I think nearly every game in the area is final at this point.
Pretty much. Let's see if we have anybody.
Shout out to also that we forgot to mention the Cedar Park info that we had. Shout out to Matt Leishman for that info and on the final there in overtime.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, it was the defense getting the stop and then Brock Johnson scoring the game-winning rushing touchdown in overtime for Cedar Park. So Brock Johnson, a heck of a game there and gets the game winner for Cedar Park. And I mean, Matt Leishman, he's out there in Arizona right now.
I know, so I'm like, man,
doing his job, and he's still keeping up with Texas football and what's going on here. So, I mean,
well, some of the best teams in the country play in the state of Texas when it comes to high school football. And you see the stadium behind us on our background. You can think of some of the new stadiums that have opened in the last 2 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and the Houston area. And you just know it's serious business when it comes to high school football in this state. And everybody from the biggest metropolitan areas to the smallest towns in the middle of nowhere, Texas, have a burning passion for Texas high school football, and it's just something that makes it unique. I mean, you'll hear people say, the football is great in Florida, California, and they're right. It's good high school football, but I don't think any set of fans have the same passion that the Texas fans do for the Friday Night Lights.
I would argue, a big part of that is consistency. I mean, I think there's times when some of these other states are not like some of the big schools that are always getting attention, but I think in Texas it's like literally our lifestyle and like what we do every year, no matter what. It doesn't matter if our team's good, it doesn't matter who's around or what new school opened or what the district is. We're gonna care, we're gonna watch, we're gonna participate in it. And we've been doing that since the dawn of football. So.
It's really funny in the state of Texas because I can think of other high schools in other states. And let's say your program is going, they have an 0-9 season. They haven't been very good for very long. People just tend to forget that the program even exists. But in Texas, if your program is, for the lack of a better term, perennial losers, and you're losing like that, people still care. Yeah. They want to see you turn it around. They'll do everything they can to help try to make that program rise to a respectable look within their district. And I think that's something that has always impressed me when it comes to Texas high school football, because you'll see a team like Cedar Creek, for instance, where at the bottom of their district since their inaugural season, and they would get a win every now and then, but nothing that really sustained. And then boom, all of a sudden they found that spark, and now they're off to a tremendous start this year. And things only look up and up for them. So you just never know what can happen within a couple of years. Maybe you get a special player, a couple of good players in the graduation class, and that's enough to bump you up from mid-pack contender to perennial playoff contender. So you just never know how it really falls into place for some of these teams.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it, I think last week, was one of those teams being Waco University, or was it, who got there, they started off the season 1-0, but they had, so many straight years of not even winning a game. They sit at 1-2 now. Oh no, they actually are 2-1.
Wow.
So yeah, I think they took their first loss tonight. It must have been, but I mean, they had four straight. They had an entire class of kids.
Yeah, they had
never won a game.
Yeah, they had a whole graduation class that never won a football game.
And now they're 2-1
at the varsity level.
Yeah. So it's good to see that story, and as they continue.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that the work is paying off, and that's the thing that's unfortunate. There has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. I'm not saying the other kids aren't working hard, but just sometimes everything just lines up correctly. Maybe you're not dealing with injuries that week. Maybe you have the perfect game plan. Maybe you're healthy, more healthy going into that matchup than the opposing team. Maybe they can be a little banged up. It goes week to week here. And it's an emotional roller coaster ride, and we're glad that we can follow along with you all. Or I should say y'all, since we are here in Georgetown at the Georgetown Jewelry Studios for SHN Friday
I was
football.
Thinking, we
Football
see
Friday.
We see, where am I? I'm on the Patriots side. Yes. So we see the
Eagles
Patriots,
side.
End zone here. We see the Eagles over there. We need a Eastview helmet
To complete the look?
Yeah. It's beautiful. We put
You think-
that
you
there.
think we
put
can
Eastview here, and Patriots, Eagles. I mean, we're in Georgetown at the Georgetown Jewelry Studio.
Well, you think if we send the shout out to the Patriots that maybe they can kind of hook us up with the, the Eastview helmet? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we don't care. We just want the Eastview helmet logo. So.
Any Patriot fans out there that can make that happen?
We would
Just
appreciate that. And then, so, sorry, I got blank there. We were in week 3, and a lot of these teams that didn't get off to the best start that we expected to get off to a good start got the win in week 2, and kind of, some of them were okay wins, some of them were pretty good wins, but this week in week 3, both Lake Travis and Cedar Park won a thriller in overtime on a comeback, as we already mentioned, but Lake Travis took care of business tonight, I believe, the way they're expected to kind of in week 3. What was the score in that Cavalier game?
It ended up being 52-10.
Yeah, so that's kind of more
ultimately, it was never close, and that's the type of Lake Travis side that we are used to seeing, and they struggled mightily in week 1, and a lot of people were really shocked after that first week. A lot of people near that program that follow it were just like, this might not be the year. It doesn't look like they can do it, and they were able to eke out a win against one of the Mansfield's teams last week, and then this week, usually their non-district slate, they only get 2 games non-district play. They pick tough opponents because they are the cream of the crop in their district, along with Westlake, and the team that's usually sitting in that 3rd position in 25-6A in Bowie. They would love nothing more than to be able to beat Lake Travis and Westlake in the same year. That has not happened as far as I can recall within the last couple of decades. But this Lake Travis side, they really turned it on against what is usually a solid Jeff Abel's coached team with the Bowie Bulldogs. So to come away, even being at home with a 52-10 victory on homecoming, it was homecoming there tonight. So that might have just give them a little added effort, especially when you have the alumni that Lake Travis has.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the quarterback position. So good for them to able to come back and get the win. And for Bowie, they still have to think about their matchup later on in the year against Westlake and be able to regroup from this. I mean, I don't think I'm hurting anybody's feelings here by saying what is a crushing defeat, because 52-10, pretty wide margin defeat, and be able to come back and get mentally ready to take on a team of a similar caliber in Westlake, who owns that head-to-head series all time as well. But I believe Jeff Abels will have his Bulldogs ready to go. Let's go ahead and just take a Grand Endeavor home scoreboard update, and we'll just go ahead and run through the scores again with you here as we get near that final hour. We're live. I don't think we really thought what we were going to do. We figured that we probably have some games running a little late, and we do have a couple, but not many left on the docket. Most of them have gone final already, but San Antonio Central Catholic and Seguin, that game coming towards the close of the 4th quarter. Look at this, the Buttons coming back 51-43 as they lead toward the end of that game. This game, I think, has gone into the 4th quarter at least at this point. Dripping Springs still ahead of New Brunswick Canyon, but from what we have seen tonight, don't count out any team just yet. I mean, it's 54-38. If they're going into the fourth quarter, New Braunfels Canyon still has plenty of time if they can force a couple of turnovers. All right, so now all these games, folks, have gone final. We mentioned it earlier in case you just tuned in with us. Yes, the Black Rain defense is apparently back. And yes, the Timberwolves have finally been able to shed the, I guess, that agony from the first loss of the season to open up the year, as they are now 2-1, 41-35. They were able to come back in overtime and get the win against San Angelo Central. Vandergrift defeated Cedar Ridge earlier this evening, 28-7 in 13-6A district play. The Westwood Warriors came back from behind and beat the Hendrickson Hawks 28-7, also in 13-6A. And keeping within the same district that you saw here on SHN Sports, the Stony Point Tigers able to defeat the Leander Lions 66-14. Stony Point now perfect 3-0 on the year, now 1-0 in district play, as Leander drops to 0-3 on the year, 0-1 in 13-6A. This game also on SHN Sports, and what a season it has been thus far for the Hutto Hippos as they defeat El Paso del Valle 38-14. Hippos looking great on their first year with us here at SHN Sports. Bastrop, the Bears, they go to 3-0 as they climb the ladder and defeat Connolly 35-21 earlier this Friday evening. Vista Ridge, as we finish up 13-6A scores, able to defeat the McNeil Mustangs 42-14. Taps action, Houston St. John's ahead of Hyde Park, where they finished out the game 34-6. And then we were talking about 25-6A. As we mentioned, Lake Travis beating Bowie 52-10. Well, Westlake doing a number on Aikens here tonight as well, and maybe just getting that little battle of the lakes ready, as they were able to defeat the Aikens Eagles 58-7. So both of those teams, the cream of the crop, so to speak, in 25-6A, and everybody always looking forward to the Battle of the Lakes in the Austin area here in Central Texas. Talking about Austin, the Maroons of Austin High. This was a tight game in 25-6A between them and the Lehman Lobos, but they ultimately pulled away after a 54-yard touchdown pass in the fourth quarter, and they never really looked back after that as they get the win 38-14. And this, my friends, I was really looking at this game throughout the rest of the night, trying to always get an update because I was interested to see how this one was going to play out, and it did go final in favor of the Anderson Trojans. Who would have thought that the Trojans would start off the season 3-0 and claim, more importantly, the district win here tonight, as they were able to knock off a really good-looking Dove Valley team. I really thought that they were going to surprise some people this year as they went into this contest 2-0, but they lose just by 3 points. So a tough defeat for the Cards, 20-17. The game on SHN Sports that you heard with Carl Schoening on the call tonight, he called it. He said that it could be a defensive battle to the very end, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. But the mighty Georgetown Eagles getting the victory, 11-8, as the Eagles continue to fly high, now 3-0. And this one, very surprising as well. Is it time to panic in Liberty Hill? That is going to be a question that should probably be asked this coming week, as they fall to defeat at home against the Manor Mustangs, who were 0-2 going into this contest. And not to say that Manor hasn't played some good football. Last week they lost, I want to say it was last week, to Weslaco East. I'm not sure if it was the first week or the second week of the season, but they did lose to Weslaco East, a team from the Rio Grande Valley. And as I had mentioned before, as a RGV native myself, we do not, and I can use we in that context, right? We normally do not defeat teams from the San Antonio area northward. You can probably count Corpus Christi as well. And we just always struggle with teams north of the Rio Grande Valley. I don't understand why. Sometimes maybe it's game plan, scheming, and sometimes we don't have the athletes. It just happens that way. But for them to lose to Weslaco East, I was quite shocked at the time. And to be 0-2 with a loss to a Rio Grande Valley team, I'm not saying that Wesco East isn't any good. They might surprise some people in the playoffs, and they might surprise some of you Central Texas football fans from what they can do in their power running game and their defense especially. But Manor able to kind of just wipe the slate clean and get this big victory on the road against Liberty Hill. And after Liberty Hill suffered their big defeat last week against the Hutto Hippos, I have to wonder, can they turn it around? I talked them up all last week, how many of the pundits had them making a deep run in the playoffs this year. And that doesn't seem to be the case right now. I mean, right now it doesn't seem like they should be thinking about making a deep run. They should just think about trying to get out of the district and get one of those 4 playoff spots to have a chance at making a deep run. But I digress a little there. I was just really shocked by the score. And I'll continue the Grand Endeavor Homes update. Crockett beats Maynard New Tech 48-6. Not exactly good news for your squad for the Knights of McCallum, as they lose to Glenn 35-14. Glenn getting their first win of the year. McCallum, they've had their struggles losing the Taco Shack Bowl, but bounced back last week, and I think it's safe to say a surprising defeat here tonight.
Well, I mean, their offense has struggled all season long. They scored 14 and they scored 21 in the Taco Shack Bowl that first game, but only got 14 of it was in the first half. And it's their offense has been, their defense has been solid overall. I mean, they gave up 35 to a okay Glenn team, pretty good offensive team, but McCallum's offense is a little bit of a worry right now, I think. And I know they have some injuries, and I know, they're battling, but you got to put up more than 14.
Yeah, and they were playing without their best player who was thrown out of the game last week. So, we'll see if he can come back. He's an all-state caliber player.
Yeah, I think he should be back next week, so they'll look forward to that for sure.
So they could definitely use his help. Salado defeating Travis 50-0. Waco La Vega over the Jaguars of LBJ 21-7. Eastview, you heard it here on SHN Sports earlier tonight. Just a monumental victory there, 61-7. Right now, Eastview at 3-0. It's looking very promising for the Patriots as they were able to defeat the former Reagan High as the Northeast Early College High School Raiders go down in defeat to Eastview. Elgin defending their home turf as they were able to come back from behind and defeat Pflugerville 37-28. Weimar over St. Michael's, Regents over Fort Worth Trinity Valley, and then Geronimo Navarro getting the win against Marble Falls 33-7. And then the Thursday night games, once again, Weiss over Rouse 25-0. Cedar Creek here on SHN jumping out to a 3-0 start for the first time ever in school history as they get the win over Fredericksburg 20-12. And then Navarro from Austin, Texas, the former Lanier High School, getting their first win as the Navarro Vikings 49-0 against Eastside Memorial. You still want that pizza?
Oh, yeah. We do have a pizza on the way, right?
No, I'm just double checking here. I still got to put that in. You still want it, right?
Okay. I want that pizza, of course.
Okay. Well, we're almost to that last hour, so just double checking.
Yeah, no worries. I'm all down. We do have the other final that was included in all of that was the Gerald final, as I had misspoke. They were down 26-6 at halftime. They did have 6, but
okay, so maybe giving them a little too much credit.
Down 20 at half, they were able to rumble back for the 34-37 victory on the road in a hostile environment. We heard a lot of those coaches in the press box, very passionate game played by both sides, and the Cougars able to come out with the victory there. And as well as you mentioned the Hutto Hippos with the visiting El Paso Del Valle team getting the victory over the visiting Del Valle El Paso team as they Hippos move on with the victory. And we have a little bit of time here, so we're going to try to get in touch
is it with Dave?
Yeah, we were going to try to get in touch with Wally Harmon, who was on the call.
Oh, okay.
For Gerald. We'll try to call him one more time.
I was like, either will be solid.
And then we'll try to get in touch with Todd Robinson as well, over on the Hutto call. But yeah, no, like you said, a lot of great games so far tonight, as we kind of like a quick, not quick, but kind of a fast end to a lot of these games for week 3, at least compared to the first 2 weeks.
Well, I would say so.
Yeah, I mean, we were here at about 10:20 or 10:30, and almost, like, probably 90% of the games had already ended. But we're gonna try to get in touch with Rob here as well. Rob, can you hear us?
Yeah, what's up, Steven? How you guys doing tonight, man?
Hey, we're great. We, been an exciting week 3. A lot of crazy action so far tonight.
Yeah, I think the most impressive, and by the way, great job, guys, as always. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. I know we had to work through a couple little technical issues there at the beginning, but we'll get all that cleared up. But really appreciate you and Justin, and man, just really impressive tonight. I'm up in Grand Forks, North Dakota, where it is about 48 degrees outside right now.
Wow,
we got off the plane this afternoon, and the wind chill was actually 45. So, nice cool air. But I've been listening tonight. Very happy with Gerald. There against Riesel is I really thought that Gerald was really going to have a tough game. Man, they come back and win that game. Georgetown tonight, on the call last week, Carl did a great job along with David England tonight. But, man, I'm excited to talk to Coach on Wednesday because I'm very nervous about Georgetown at this point. The South San team is a team that has turned around. Georgetown looked impressive. Even though they're 3-0, I feel like our offense has a lot more firepower than that. You got to give credit to the defense for holding South San back. But it's a concern for me with Georgetown at this moment after that game on Friday. So they'll have the bye week, and then they'll play one more non-district game versus Stephenville back at home at Birkelbach. But, man, Georgetown's really got to turn things around as far as being a little bit more impressive. You can't be content at 3-0. And then, of course, Hutto tonight taking care of business. But a lot of great games across the network. Cedar Creek last night, you guys talked about them, 3-0 for the first time in school history. And then how about the Patriots, man? They are taking care of business early this season.
Yeah, Cedar Creek, great for that program to get their first 3-0 start. Everyone's happy for them. It's awesome. And then, yeah, I mean, I've especially, since, as you know, Rob, covering Eastview the last 3 years with Travis, and Travis on the call tonight. I mean, man, they have been impressive to start off the season with the close win in week 1 and the dominant victory over Navarro tonight. Or no, it was Northeast College, College Prep tonight.
It's a mouthful
I think,
right?
Yeah, and I think they have kind of put themselves on them. I mean, I wouldn't want to face them next week if I were a team.
Yeah, I mean, and you talk about a coach, a first-year head coach with Jared Peacock, who came in from San Saba, the mentality of what he brings and just his discipline. I went out to a practice to present Colson with his award, the first ever Georgetown, the first ever player award here on SHN Sports, sponsored by Georgetown Jewelry, and just saw some of that discipline in the practice. Nothing on any previous leadership at Eastview, but there's just a new, fresh breath of air there at Eastview, and it's really starting to show now with the Patriots. So, again, we'll see what happens with them, but Georgetown's still an area of concern for me, even though they're 3-0. They've got to figure out a way to put more points on the board, and tonight they really just eked out a victory. Give credit to the defense and Coach Patterson, though, for what he does. I don't want to discredit those guys.
Yeah, I mean, and what you said about Eastview, I find, pretty. I think it's noticeable the shift is going on at Eastview, and I think they're a program that has always had a lot of potential. They've always competed. They've always played hard, but the discipline and the little things that Coach is doing over there, new in his first year, and it's definitely showing so far. I did have one last question for you, Rob, before we let you go. You're calling the Sam Houston State game tomorrow. Who are they playing?
Playing North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks. Played them last year. at Bowers in Huntsville, Texas, and the Fighting Hawks came in and snapped a 21-game home winning streak. So the Bearcats are, they're a little agitated, man. You don't want to agitate a Bearcats.
No,
they're a little
you don't.
agitated. They're ready to rock and roll tomorrow, and looking forward to that game. But hey, man, want to shout out to all you guys before I go. Just a shout out to our SHN family, incredible work, and a shout out back to all of our wonderful listeners and viewers there back in Georgetown. Looking forward to it. I hope you guys can get a hold of Wally. Really looking forward to hearing his call. I listened to some of that audio, and it was a little colorful there in the background at times, but overall it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're going to try to get in touch with Wally later, but yeah, man, that was a crazy scene over there, Riesel.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a good night, man. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you too. Get some sleep, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. And that was Rob Hipp as he gets ready to call the Bearcats game tomorrow as they look for vengeance on the team that snapped their home winning streak last year in North Dakota. As we get going close to, what are we in?
Final hour.
Yeah, final hour.
Countdown. Here from the Georgetown Jewelry Studios.
Yeah, we're set for one more hour, and we are going to try to get in touch with David England, who was color commentating tonight with Carl Schoening at the South San Antonio taking on Georgetown game that finished 11-8. David, Carl talked to us at halftime, said it was a defensive battle, and he thought it could continue that way. And it seems like it did. Only 8 points in that second half. How was that second half, and what exactly took place?
It was fascinating. Emily and I are sitting in the car. She's called into fan stand and gave her a recap. But it's just fascinating, this game. It was a very low-scoring game. The second half, the Georgetown defense was bent just a little bit, enough for South San Antonio to be able to run to the inside a little bit on their run game, and their quarterback ran in for their touchdown and then their 2-point conversion. But aside from that, I think the story tonight is our defense did really, really, really well. They played assignment football really well. There's only a couple of times they got away with some big runs up to maybe 20, 30 yards. It was really about it. And then on the offensive side of the ball, hats off to our Coach Beatty, the offensive coordinator, and the plays that he was calling, because he kept it on the ground, and we gave South San Antonio a dose of their medicine. We did some runs, and then that opened up the pass, and so we had time of possession for the entire game, which was really, really, really a lot of fun. So, but then. I got so much to talk about. I'm actually in the drive-thru at Whataburger in South San Antonio.
I called you a little
Can I holler back at you here in just a few minutes?
Yeah, for sure. We'll check back in. Yeah, we'll check back in with you in a bit, and good luck on that order.
I'll text you here in a minute. I got so much more to say, so many more thoughts about this game.
We want to hear it. We'll let you go. That was David, as we will check back in with him in a few moments. He was at the Georgetown game as they got the 11-8 victory tonight. He actually credited, he was at the game, obviously, he credited the offensive coordinator. A very run-heavy game. Rob mentioned, we had just talked to him, that he was a little worried about their offense, but maybe it was just one of those games, and we'll look to next week. As we're going to try to get in touch with Wally here, who was at the drill game. We keep talking about what a crazy scene on the road, and Wally, I don't even know what to ask you.
Steven, it was a crazy 2 different games. The first half was a game in and of itself that was just it looked like Gerald was on his heels, maybe a step slow, kind of taken back.
Yeah. And
it was funny as the coaches left the box where we were with them, just saying, man, we've got to get some life in these guys. And then they came out, and it was the Florence game all over again. They just dominated the ball, put up 31 points in the second half. And it was just unbelievable. Rodriguez was on fire from the quarterback position, just knocking out some passes. Jake Copeland on the defensive end, making some big tackles, not letting McClintock get loose on the run. And I tell you what, that second half was just impressive football to watch for Gerald.
Yeah, and we were actually able to tune in here in the studio to some big moments of that game. We got to hear the Riesel touchdown that then got called back due to holding, and then the sequential Gerald touchdown, actually the game-winning touchdown from Rodriguez in the end zone. So, man, I mean, take us through those moments and how the immediate shift in momentum right then.
You know what's crazy? The second half, Gerald did not let anything affect him. They didn't let it slow him down. That penalty was huge, and you saw it, and you thought maybe that was the thing that was going to kind of break the momentum for him. And Rodriguez was just confident, and the pass that he hit, Schomburger, it looked like it was to him, and he puts his hands down, and it goes right over him into the hands of Crathers, in between two defensive backs for Riesel, and it was just that's how it clicked all second half. And so once that happened, it was almost like, okay, the defense has done their job. The second half, one more gusto, and they'll get it, and they did. I mean, it was just impressive, but even the coaches didn't, up in the box, they were confident, even after the holding penalty. It's okay, what play do we go back to? And they were just constantly talking super positive, and you could tell the players fed off of that. I don't know what was said in that locker room at halftime, but it was like the players, like we talked last week, what team shows up this week? Is it the team that has talent and knows they can compete, and they compete? And I think we got that in the second half, and I think they knew we could compete, and they just ran over the Indians of Riesel. It was just it was so fun to watch, so fun to be a part of.
Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of seems like how it went to us as we monitored the score all evening. We saw the deficit at halftime, and we covered it on our halftime break. And I told Justin, I was like, man, I don't know, this doesn't seem. I just felt like they had more in them, and I said, watch, they might come back. I don't think you should count them out yet. And as we monitored the game, and man, there's just no fight, no quit in them, and all fight. And I think a big part of that has been, as you said, with the coaching. I mean, Coach Davidson has had a heck of a start to this year, and I mean, even me and Justin here in the studio were talking, it's been an up and down season. We were talking at halftime for the Cougars as they had a tough first game and came out and played really well last week, and then stunk it up in the first half this week, but escaped with the victory. I mean, just a lot.
Yeah, one of the game balls in this game has to go to the coach, because whatever magic they pulled out and whatever speech they gave at halftime, it had to be one for the ages because of. But it was so many little pieces of that puzzle in the second half that was just unbelievable. Warren, the running back, had another great night, and I think the coaches finally saw that the Riesel couldn't handle his speed, and once he got to the outside corners, Warren kind of ran it at free will. He lowered his shoulders a couple of times, and we had an injury there. Thankfully, it wasn't anything major, and a 45-minute delay again this time, but he lowered his shoulder and ran over one of the defensive backs for Riesel, and it was just unbelievable. Warren's not a big kid, but he was not afraid to lower the pass. He ran hard. Heron Rodriguez, at quarterback, ran the ball well, made Crathers. It's just
yeah, Wally.
2-point conversion one time.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you were cutting out a little bit there. We heard most of what you said about the shift and it's everything clicking for Gerald. It sounds like you mentioned that halftime speech the coach must have gave was almost wish could be something we could get that audio or something. It sounds like he really lit a fire under them to come out in the second half, and they executed so well.
Yeah, to see those kids put up 31 points on a team that just controlled the first half against them, and no matter what they did, it didn't seem to work. No matter what they tried to, the McClintock made some good plays in that first half, but it felt like he was just throwing the ball. And then all of a sudden in the second half, it flip-flopped. And McClintock threw it up, and the defense went up and got it. And it's just, I would have loved to have heard that speech. The players fed off of it somehow.
Yeah.
And by 31 points in a high school game in the second half, by that being down 26-6 to start the second half, that was just unbelievable. It was so fun. The the home stands were silent, and that was fun to, I guess, experience being on the home side tonight, broadcasted.
Yeah, for sure. We'll let you get home and get going here tonight. We appreciate you calling in. What a victory there for the Cougars, Wally. We appreciate you.
All righty, good talking to you guys. Talk to you all next week.
All right, sounds good. That was Wally Harmon, voice of the Gerald Cougars.
What an exciting night for him, man.
Oh, man. Incredible night. The energy that was there must have been insane as they were on the road, too. So crushing the hearts of Riesel's squad.
I mean, Doppler Dave should send us a photo from him standing in line at Whataburger. That would have been epic. And for you fans at home that are listening to these games on the SHN Sports Network, or might just be watching us as we check in through games because you just happen to like the way we talk, or you like our boyish smiles. I don't know. I'm not here to judge you. But, if you wanted to interact with us, you can. Again, you can always text us, 512-508-8388. That's how you can also leave a voicemail. And, of course, we want to see where you may be on this Friday night, how you're taking in the game. No matter where you may be, we don't expect you to be in Texas. We don't expect you to be at the game. But we'd like to know, even if you're just on your couch, or maybe you're on the road in some hotel that you in the middle of nowhere, and we were like the most entertaining thing for you on your Friday night, we would love to know. So just tweet at us at SHN Sports. Utilize that hashtag SHN Football Friday. I always want to say hashtag and then hashtag again. That seems a little over redundant.
So we're updating on that. You talked a lot about the Liberty Hill game and how shocked you were that they lost. They're number 6 in 4A in the state. And as you said, a lot of people predicting them to go deep in the playoffs. Another shout out to Matt Leishman. He was saying they actually lost on a 4th down pass that fell incomplete into the end zone, and they had marched all the way down inside the Maynard 10-yard line with 10 seconds left, and ball drops incomplete, and they lose yet again.
I know, but you can't be a championship team and not get it done.
Yeah, no.
When you're trying to get the victory, they got to iron out some things over in Liberty Hill.
Another team that actually did play well tonight and got the victory over the visiting El Paso Del Valle team, Hutto Hippos, with an impressive victory tonight. And we are live on the phone with voice of the Hippos, Todd Robinson. Todd, sorry, it's an hour. We're in the final hour, SHN Football Friday. And,
a long night.
How about that, Hippo?
Hang in there, guys.
How did the game go tonight, and what was the most impressive thing probably taken away from such a good game for the Hippos?
Well, I think it went well. I mean, in the end, it went well. Hippos won 38-14, and by the way, I hope you guys have had a good night. It's this was an interesting game for us. I think I told you guys last week. This was our first home game, what we call our Freedom Game, and it's a game every year where we recognize our veterans and first responders and folks like that. And but it was also a night where we honored the folks from El Paso. We did some special things with the El Paso people, the team, and the very few fans that they had. Our band provided their school song. They didn't bring their band. They didn't have very many fans, so we encouraged a lot of our fans to sit on the opposite side, just so those kids would have some folks behind them. It was kind of all over the news the last few days, and I say all that to say I think a lot of that was probably distracting to our kids. The first half, we really got off to a slow start, and I say we got off to a slow start. We actually scored on our very first play of the game, 67-yard touchdown pass from Grayson Doggett to Dejon Harrison. But then we didn't score again for about 4 or 5 possessions, and it was back and forth, just 3 and out, and 7-7 until about 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and then we scored again. Then we got a stop, and then we scored again with about 30 seconds to go into halftime. So we were up 21-7. So you kind of sense that maybe at that point we were beginning to exert a little bit of our will, but even the third quarter came out and started a little slow. And we've said all along, and I told you guys this last week, our defense is fantastic, and our defense is what's going to not they're going to keep us in every game, and they're probably going to save us at times when our offense is struggling. It's exactly what happened tonight. Our offense was just was having a difficult time, and credit to the El Paso de Valle kids. They played hard. They've got some good kids, quick kids, especially at the linebacker, and they just made it difficult for Mekhi Kimball, our running back, who'd gone off for almost 400 yards rushing the first two games. He struggled tonight. Grayson Doggett struggled at times throwing the ball, overthrowing receivers, but he hit them when he needed to. And I'll tell you guys, the defense is what did it for us. It was 21-14 in the third quarter at one point, and we got an interception. Brock Bueno intercepted a pass. Well, before that, we recovered a fumble, and then we scored about 2 plays later to go up 28-14, and then their very next possession, Brock Bueno intercepted a pass, returned it down to the 20, and we scored on the first play, and all of a sudden it's 35-14, and it's ball game at that point. So it was not a pretty game for the Hippos tonight, but I think, again, we can credit a lot of the distractions that were going on leading up to this game. But it's a good win against a good team from El Paso, and now we get ready next week, and we go meet a Houston Lamar, a 6A Houston Lamar team that's always very athletic that we beat last year, and they're going to want some revenge.
Well, yeah, a lot to look forward to next week with that matchup. But, yeah, no, it sounds like, overall the Hippos played a solid game as they battled through. I mean, a lot of those distractions were also very just kind of being a good human being, and I think the Hutto community deserves a lot of respect for welcoming in Del Valle and showing them the support that El Paso Del Valle and showing them the support that they have as such a long road trip for them, really, too.
Yeah, absolutely. They were very appreciative. All week we were getting messages from them. We had been selling shirts that said Hippo Nation is El Paso strong, and the proceeds from that are going to go to a group out in El Paso that supports first responders, because they're they have first responders out there that have seen things that none of us ever want to see and don't even want to imagine. And that's only been a month since all of that happened out there in El Paso, and we talked to their coaches, and they were so appreciative of all the things we've been doing, and we received messages all week from a lot of the folks out there in El Paso. So yeah, at the end of the night, it's a football game. The Hippos won, but there's always that, keep in perspective of what everything is. And, we're here talking about high school football, and that's what we all get excited about. But, this is a team, they drove 10 hours, lost, but hopefully they're going to take away a lot of great memories and some things that as these young men grow up to be, leaders and dads and husbands and things like that in life, this might be just a small little thing that they learn some lessons that are going to help them beyond football.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it any better than that. Very wise words from Todd Robinson, the voice of the Hutto Hippos, getting the victory tonight. Todd, we'll let you get some rest, but we appreciate you calling in and everything you're doing here for the Hippos and for SHN Sports.
Absolutely, guys. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. We'll touch base soon with Todd Robinson, voice of the Hutto Hippos, as, man, interesting week for them and an interesting game out there, but they do get the victory, and, despite all that was going on, just a lot of respect shown between those two teams and given all the circumstances surrounding it.
Oh, definitely. But I mean, Hutto knows that they came to it's a business trip for them. They came to work tonight, and they ultimately were able to push through and get the victory. So they have improved very quickly this year. A year that many had deemed might be a drop-off year for them, but that does not seem to be the case. And of course, we're happy to have them here on SHN Sports.
Yeah, and I mean, what they said about the T-shirts going straight to El Paso and all that, it's pretty nice what the community has done. We talked earlier briefly to David England as he got his Whataburger on in the drive-thru. We're going to try to reconnect with him. David, did you succeed in your order? And what did you get, actually?
Well, I got a number 5 with no onions, sub mayo, and got a Dr. Pepper shake. And Emily got some chicken strips and with some gravy and a Dr. Pepper. She'll be wide awake all the way home.
Man, I tell you, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong with that Dr. Pepper shake. It is really good.
That's right. And we even called some Dairy Queens locally, but they all closed at 10 o'clock. So we knew we were going to be able to get a blizzard. But while we were in line at the Whataburger down here, right here on 410, I think it is, there was a black cat that ran in front of us.
Oh, no.
And, it's Friday the 13th.
Right.
The full moon was tonight at 9:35.
Wow. I didn't even realize
Aaron
that.
Bazell, number 13 for the Georgetown Eagles, caught an interception. The cheerleaders had a accident on the way down in their bus. Nobody got hurt. They got rear-ended. Had a football player had a little small wreck today. So it's been a crazy day, and a crazy day because Emily and I can't remember the last time we've seen such a low-scoring Georgetown football game. Normally it's like 70 to 67. It's this huge, high-powered, fast-paced offense. And tonight we thought, well, South San Antonio, they're a running team. They're going to come in here. They're going to run the ball. A lot of time of possession is going to be on their side. They're probably going to try and keep our offense off the field. And what actually happened was Georgetown did that. Georgetown ran the ball, set up the pass really well, and we had time of possession. And before you know it, the first half is over with, and Georgetown is up 11-0. So hats off to Coach Beatty, the offensive coordinator, and the play calling, and R.J. Moreno really did a great job running the ball, as did Darson Herman. Had a lot of good scrambles there. We had some wide receivers. We had some drop balls. They'll still need to clean that up. We'll hopefully be getting a couple of folks back from injury in 2 weeks when the Stephenville squad comes to town. On the defense side, boy, you just can't say enough about our defense. This is the third week in a row they've played really, really well. They were going up against a really well-coached ball club in South San Antonio. However, Georgetown is well-coached as well, and they've been working on the South San Antonio plays since two-a-days. And I was talking to Coach Pat before the game. He's very excited to be able to, after this game, put that away because we won't see any more triple option plays, offenses like that for the rest of the season, so they can get back to focusing on spread offense and some of the other offenses we're used to seeing. But the way they lined up, they had 3 down linemen, and they had some a player on either side of them that was standing up. They were ready for the toss, and they just covered it extremely well. Played assignment football. Only a couple of times they had some plays that got away from them, but for the most part, it was really. It was a good, hard-fought game. There's some complaints about the officiating. The last time, if you remember, the last time we came down to San Antonio and played down here, we were in the I believe the second round of the playoffs. We were playing a Byrne champion team.
I do, I remember that.
That game was like 70 to 68 or something like that, and
it's crazy.
Finished really bad, and the refs ran off the field, and it was horrible. But for some reason, the officiating is fascinating down here in San Antonio. But we'll go back to Georgetown with the W, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, that is all that matters, getting the dub for the Eagles. I'm glad you mentioned it. I don't think either of us have even mentioned it. We realized it kind of on a break, but that it is Friday the 13th tonight.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you got the full experience of that tonight, as did some Georgetown squad and all of their team as well. Jeez.
And we've got to send a thank you out to the South San Antonio staff. Just a beautiful facility down there. That turf was brand new. They replaced it this summer, so the youngsters had an excellent field to play on. We had a view. We could see the Alamo Dome. We could see downtown San Antonio. The basketball stadium's off to our left. They've got a weight room over there in the corner with all glass. Just a beautiful facility they have down there. Very accommodating. In our view, we could see the moon coming up, and it was a full moon at 9:35, full moon, Friday the 13th. It's a crazy day. And it sounds like it was that way for a lot of teams around Central Texas. I think Cedar Park at one point was trailing or tied with the team they were playing, right?
Yeah, they went into overtime, and they won on a pretty crazy touchdown drive in overtime. So they did get the victory. But yeah, no, a tight, crazy game there as well. You know, we were at the we were at Nelson Field last night, and I looked up and saw how big the moon was, but I didn't even realize the full moon was tonight, and I didn't even realize coming into today that it was the 13th. But maybe that's why I had a pretty chill day today.
Well, and a little bit of trivia. I'll see if I can pull up the correct information on my phone real quick. But the last time we saw a full moon was, or a full moon on a September 13th was in 2000, and the next one will occur in 2049. So kind of a special night tonight for everybody listening in. A little fun fact trivia I learned from KGU on their Twitter account.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, I was going to mention I don't know when the last time that happened was, but it doesn't seem like it'd be something that happens very often. You said the next one is 2049?
Yeah, 2049, so that would be, 30 years from now, if my math is correct?
I'll be almost 60. Jeez.
God, I'll be 75 years old. But I want to give a shout out to Emily. She's been my travel buddy since middle school, and we're nearing the end of some of our football game journeys. Our last probably travel football game, we'll get to go down to Port Neches Groves versus Nederland on the 8th of November. So, but it's been a lot of fun traveling with her. My wife's been very patient up in Georgetown. She understands my passion for high school football and sports. So shout out to her back home. And guys, y'all are having another wonderful show, and we got to listen in to some of it, and keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, well, we appreciate it, David, and we appreciate all the coverage and work you do for SHN Sports. Get home safe, and we'll touch base with you soon.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Y'all have fun.
All right. That was David England, who was on color commentating tonight with Carl, and an 11-8 victory over South San Antonio. A defensive battle. It was 11-0 at halftime.
Hey, a win's a win.
A lot to take away for the Eagles as they move forward. But yeah, you're right. They got the dub, and they get to come back home with that in mind. We are going to take a quick break for a message from our sponsors as we near the last half hour of Week 3 SHN Football Friday, and we will be right back.
Gotta get that 30-minute stretch in.
Exactly.
Jimmy Jacobs' reputation for building beautiful custom homes in Central Texas speaks for itself. For over 30 years, he has been behind some of the most successful and sought-after new home developments in Georgetown. Grand Endeavor Homes represents a new era of elegant custom home building. Now joined by his son, Justin Jacobs, Jimmy has launched Grand Endeavor Homes to continue his legacy and reputation for custom homes in Georgetown and the surrounding areas. Visit GrandEndeavorHomes.com for details and directions to the model home. Central Texas High School football on SHN Sports is made possible by Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company. 3 words describe Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company: simple, reliable, and awesome. We support our community. From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products, Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company helps put your brand on your business. Get started on your project today by getting a quick and easy quote online at GeorgetownShirtCompany.com. 2019 high school football on SHN Sports is proudly presented by Georgetown Jewelry. Georgetown Jewelry is your trusted local jewelry store, family owned and operated since 2013. Whether you desire a one-of-a-kind custom piece or want to enjoy browsing our inventory of both unique and traditional jewelry and watches, stop by and see us at Georgetown Jewelry. We also specialize in jewelry repair and appraisals. For more information, please visit Georgetown Jewelry, located in the Williamsburg Village Shopping Center in Georgetown, or online at georgetownjewelry.com. Jimmy Jacobs' reputation for building beautiful custom homes in Central Texas speaks for itself. For over 30 years, he has been behind some of the most successful and sought-after new home developments in Georgetown. Grand Endeavor Homes represents a new era of elegant custom home building. Now joined by his son, Justin Jacobs, Jimmy has launched Grand Endeavor Homes to continue his legacy and reputation for custom homes in Georgetown and the surrounding areas. Visit GrandEndeavorHomes.com for details and directions to the model home.
Well, welcome back here to the Georgetown Jewelry SHN Broadcast Studio, here for week 3 of SHN Football Friday live on SHN Sports. Full swing of games so far tonight, as Justin will be right back in a moment. But man, a lot of games as we enter the last 25 minutes or so here of action. And hey, there's Justin as he pops back in here. We were briefly able to talk to David England on the color commentating tonight with Georgetown. We got to check in with Todd Robinson. I keep saying the N on Robinson. His name is Todd Robinson.
Yeah,
I just don't know how to say that, and I even said that to him on air. But I know his name, and I know how to say it, or I don't know how to say it. I will learn. I will work on it for you, Todd. Todd, it's so hard not to add the N when you're just used to saying it. Well, Todd Robinson. I don't know. But and then we were also able to check in. We got some info from Matt Leishman from Arizona, of course, covering all the or keeping up with all the Texas football going on. Also, our shout out to Wally Harmon, who got to cover the amazing Gerald game tonight on the road as they. Yeah, and they win it 37-34 as they scored. They scored 36 they scored 31 in the second half. I believe.
Impressive quick math there.
Yeah,
impressive quick math.
Was it impressive if it was wrong? No, I think I had it right.
It's pretty close. Better than not. It's better than far off, I suppose.
And just a thriller there when we got to check in with Wally Harmon, which was awesome to hear his take. And we got to talk to Rob as he gets set for the Sam Houston State game tomorrow, taking on the team that actually beat them, broke their 27 home game win streak last year. Now heading to North Dakota to take them on, and obviously a lot of vengeance in mind. Obviously, Rob Hipp will have that call for Sam Houston State tomorrow.
Yeah, and I mean that's a tough game to play, and it's quite the distance at that.
Yeah, he's talking about how he's
on the Canadian
basically
border.
Yeah, right at the Canadian border. If I could, I'll try to show you this image he sent of his hotel there. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Who's thinking about fireplaces in
I know,
September
right?
in Texas?
It's definitely a different world.
I wonder if it's cold. Probably is cold.
Yeah, I mean he told us they would think the high over there for him was 48 today or whatever. He's dealing with like some 44-degree temperatures up in North Dakota. It's just,
and you mean like 48 Fahrenheit, not 48 like Celsius?
Man, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know what I mean. I'm not there.
It's about 30 degrees Celsius here in Georgetown right now, just to give you an idea, like how warm 48 degrees Celsius could possibly be.
Yeah,
and isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. It's very crazy.
Not like I ever wanted to be a meteorologist or anything.
Did you?
No, but I know how to work with green screens. As we look over here in the northeast area
I was
going to
say we talked about it in week 1. I shouted out one of the early Fox News weathermen and how he inspired me to actually want to be one for a while.
And maybe if I didn't have to go through all that schooling to be an actual that's the difference between a meteorologist and a weatherman. A meteorologist has a degree. A weatherman or a weather person, doesn't. They can probably read the radar and stuff. They don't have the certificates and everything. But I would feel confident in my ability to give the weather on a daily, consistent basis, I think. I'm not sure how good my predictions would be, but you should always carry a jacket with you anyways, right?
Speaking of why you should carry jackets with you, this is the hotel that our boy Rob Hipp is at right now, and he's sitting right next to the fireplace in the lobby at that hotel. That is, we would not want to be next to that as we sit next to our air conditioned, trying to stay
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, to try to stay comfortable in hot Texas. But thanks to Rob Hipp giving us a little preview of what he's got going on as he travels for the Sam Houston State game once again taking place tomorrow.
There's still
the last 20 minutes. You asked me if I wanted that pizza, and I said yes. Where is it at?
Hey, man, that's not my fault. And I did the work to make that happen.
Good point. Excellent point. Can't argue that.
This is why we need a pizza sponsor to get over here at the end of this broadcast and really kind of cement your legacy on SHN Football Friday and help feed our hungry hearts and our hungry stomachs. You too could have this place at the end of the show. Whatever food you may have. Although, I do have to mention that Steven does not eat meat. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
just be conscientious of that.
Appreciate you remembering that. I mean, nobody ever does.
Well, that's why they can make. That's the great thing about pizza. I know this is a football show, but this is a good time to mention just for the comedic sake of the show. This one time I did date a friend of mine, this lady, and I found out that she did not like pizza. That was very difficult to comprehend. I was like, so you mean to tell me that maybe you just don't like, some pizza? What about if it's plain? She's like, well, no, I don't like the sauce.
Well, then.
So she didn't like tomatoes, so she didn't like tomato sauce. So maybe white cheese pizza. I mean, there were things to work around, but
that's a fundamental part of pizza.
Yeah, it's just that's usually the base of an actual pizza. So that's what I was saying. After going through that, I'm very conscientious of what people's likes and dislikes are when it comes to food. So
not that you have to answer this, but on air. But was she one of those people who kind of gets upset if you don't remember? Did that push you to like, oh, you don't like pizza? That's right. I'm sorry.
No, I don't recall that.
Okay,
I just do recall.
You're just a thoughtful guy. You remember.
Well, not only
this.
that, it was just so odd to hear.
Right.
Because everybody has their quirks, obviously, and we'll get back to football here in a bit. But you just say, hey, I don't like tomatoes. It's like, whoa, that's a big one. That's like a basis of a lot of foods.
So many things.
It's like, when you say that you don't like meat, I'm just like, okay, well, obviously that.
Let's get one thing
straight. Well, we don't eat.
I like meat.
You just don't eat it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I used to, what really led me to vegetarianism, as we say, we'll get back to football in a second. We're in the last 15 minutes here, is
I didn't eat, on our mind, man.
I didn't eat that. Yeah, we're hungry. I didn't eat that much meat to begin with. Like for most of my life, I've never been a fan of bacon. I've never been a fan of ribs. I've had these things. I don't like bacon. I mean, it's not that
we're learning a lot here tonight.
Getting
real deep.
I don't like ribs. I don't enjoy ribs. I don't enjoy steak.
What?
They're the only.
Are you from Texas?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Austin. Austin, Texas.
I don't know, man.
Hey, you can't take away my Texas card. But
I mean, I got my native Texas plates too.
There you go.
But still.
But I mean. So I was really just eating a lot of fried chicken.
Nothing wrong with fried chicken.
I enjoyed that.
Nothing wrong with fried chicken.
I still enjoy it. I just ultimately didn't want to, eat things that were once alive.
At least you don't have to work out as hard.
That's true. I think I'm generally probably a little healthier than I was when I was eating meat.
Because I love to eat, but I mean, to keep my physique, I really have to put in the work. Just like these kids on the gridiron have to put in the work to have a successful season.
Speaking of these kids that you speak of, these aren't quite kids, I suppose.
I was going to say those are some grown men now. I mean, they're young adults, I think would be the best term to describe any college players, because some of those kids, as we use that term, were high school seniors just a year ago. And as we age, maybe you, the fans out there, don't recall, but there's so many changes that are going on at this juncture in your life. I mean, you're moving away from home for the first time, more than likely. You're in a brand new environment, brand new city, brand new customs, with a brand new set of teammates, coaching staffs, maybe even wearing different colors than what you wore in high school, more than likely. So beyond all that, learning how to pay bills. Learn how to cook for yourself. I know that these athletes will have opportunities to eat, within their cafeteria and such. But on the weekends, they're on their own sometimes if they're not playing a game.
Yeah, so we're showing you now a picture Rob Hipp sent us of the Sam Houston State team getting into the hotel, and he told us his text with it was, "Yeah, we eat a lot." As you can see, a lot of big guys there, a lot of big appetites. Once one of those cravings may be met tomorrow when they beat if they beat the team that snapped their win streak last year, their 27-game home win streak. Now they'll march into their turf and try to get them back tomorrow.
Well, you have to remember that some of these dudes are 6'4", close to 300 pounds, and here's another story that, this one's probably a little less interesting, but talking about the food intake, I was at a Super Bowl party with a former NFL football pro, plays on the line, right? Not going to name names, but huge guy. He stood about 6'6", had to be in 300+ pound range, right? So he went and got some cookies, and he got 2 boxes of cookies. And I'm like, there's not that many people at the party at this point in time. I'm like, why 2 boxes, man? He's like, no, go ahead. You guys can have that box, and this box for me.
I'll have this.
And I'm just like, okay. And I was just like, what? I was like, he can't be. So no, he proceeded to eat these things maybe 2, 3 at a time, and was just going like this, and he's just all wolfing it down. He's like, you have to remember, little dude. I was like, he's like, it takes a lot more to feed this beast than it does for somebody like yourself. No disrespect. And I was like, yeah, none taken. I get it. I don't have to think about those things. I'm like, I know my limits. And it's usually, if we're at Whataburger, it's usually nothing more than number 1. Every now and then a number 2. But I would never, ever go for a triple stack.
Really?
Yeah, I'm always surprised when I see people that want to go triple or more.
I mean, we talked about how I'm a vegetarian, but I'm not kidding when I say I did, wasn't always. I went to Whataburger one time with a friend, and we both got the triple
it's a lot
burger.
Of work. It's a lot of work.
And then, when I was in high school, I went to McCallum, as we know, but who lost tonight, football related, lost tonight 28-14 at the hands of Glenn.
We'll give him one more scoreboard update before we round off things.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. But I went to McCallum, and down the street from McCallum on North Lamar is Dan's Hamburgers, and I used to go in there, at lunch every day. I mean, it was right there. You could walk to it. I didn't have a car back then, but so one day I was really hungry, and I was like, whatever. So I ordered a triple patty, large.
Yeah.
Because they give you that option, as you don't get everywhere, but the large patty.
That sounds horrible, man. That's
and
a
I
lot
got
of food.
a large curly fry.
Because I like Dan's.
Yeah, I got a large curly fry, and I got a large shake. And I don't know if you've ever had
a
shake from Dan's, but the large is large.
That's too much food.
It is a big shake. And yeah, I ate all of it on my 20-minute lunch break, and I went back to class, and everyone was like, "You're gonna die! Like, how did you eat all that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty full." But I mean, I was like, I've always been able to surprise people with what I'm able to eat in one setting.
All right.
And just before you go there, we're gonna take it. I have a lot in my home with a lot. I try to keep a lot of snacks and stuff because I don't cook that much, honestly, and I wish I did. I wish I cooked more, and it's not that I don't know how. It's just I'm lazy, basically, is what I'm saying. And but I always got the snacks home. I mean, the snacks, stacks of snacks.
Stacks of snacks? Is that what you're
snacks
trying
on
to get at?
snacks, stacks of snacks on snacks at home, and it's a grand sight. And speaking of grand sights and homes, it's time for a Grand Endeavor Home Scoreboard update.
Yes, and before I jump to that, since I know it's live, but this is how it has to work. I'm going to give you the driver's tip money just in case they are outside.
Yeah.
They may be outside now. I don't know what's taking
I'll go
so
check
long.
in on that for you, but we'll get this update going.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read off the updates brought to you once again by Grand Endeavor Homes here in Georgetown from the Georgetown Jewelry Studios live in Georgetown, Texas. All the games have gone final as we've been just talking with some of the SHN family over their games that they had throughout the night. So let's go ahead and start off with what ended up being a overtime thriller in the game at San Angelo Central, where Cedar Park on the road able to get the 41-35 win again in overtime to defeat San Angelo Central. Vandergrift takes down Cedar Ridge 28-7, where Vandergrift continues on their way to a perfect start, 3-0 this year. We'll move in, continuing with 13-6A action. So the first district game kicking off for a lot of the teams out there in Central Texas. This one, I think very surprising. Westwood, the Warriors, they have had some, unfortunately, more downs than ups on the gridiron the last decade, but getting a big win, come back from behind and beat the Henderson Hawks 28-27. You saw this game on SHN. And Stony Point able to defeat the Leander Lions 66-14. This game also on SHN. Hutto continues their run of perfect football as they remain 3-0, undefeated. 38-14 their score as they were able to get the win over El Paso Del Valle. The Bastrop Bears continue their dominance to a 3-0 start as they take down Connolly 35-21. And it's been a difficult season for Connolly thus far, some close contests, but just unable to see the game for all 4 quarters and get the victory at the end. Hopefully things will turn around for Connolly, but district play up ahead for them is going to be a difficult road to sled. As we go back to 13-6A, Vista Ridge defeats McNeil 42-14 in a TAPS action. Houston St. John's, well, a easy victory for them over Hyde Park 34-6. 25-6A, Westlake doing work on Aikens 58-7. Lake Travis also in 25-6A action, not to be outdone as they take down Bowie 52-10. A tough loss for the Bulldogs, who are really looking forward to this matchup this past week. Big win for the Maroons also in 25-6A as Austin High able to get the win over Lehman as the Lobos were looking to get back on the winning streak, so to speak. But Austin High getting a 54-yard touchdown in the second half to help spring the game loose 38-14. And it looks like we finally have had, like, by the grace, yeah, we would love to have him on. He doesn't know this as we're finishing off the scores real quick. Anderson beats Del Valle 20-7. Georgetown again 11-8. Manor 33-28 over Liberty Hill. Crockett defeats Manor New Tech 48-6. 54-38 win for Dripping Springs. Glenn defeats McCallum 35-14. Salado wins 50-0. Waco La Vega 21-7 win over LBJ, and Eastview wins 61-7 over Northeast Early College Prep. And hey, what's going on, man?
How's it going, dude?
Hey, dude, this is the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour.
With
because
the pizza.
yes, yes.
Tip you, of course.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time once
Got
again,
good
man.
choice getting the fan pizza.
Dude, this is, maybe some of that sweet Domino's sponsorship money will come in on the show one day. But I'm telling you, folks, this is not a bad pizza.
There you go.
Spring for the pan. It's definitely worth
For
it.
sure. What's your name, man?
Zach.
Yes.
Shout out to Zach.
Is there anyone you want to shout out while you deliver
while
this
you're
pizza to
on
us?
this show.
No, not that I know of.
Well, here,
Wyatt Perez. I shout out Wyatt Perez.
Shout out Wyatt Perez. We appreciate the delivery here from Domino's, and we'll let you get on your way as we finish up this signature, though.
Yeah, man.
But,
sorry about that, man.
We'll send you the link and stuff if you wanna check it out. Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
For
man.
sure.
Thank you.
Have
Hey,
a good night.
Have a safe night, dude.
What's your YouTube channel name?
It's SHN Sports. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Thanks
that
again,
was
man. What's this for? Oh, you want me to keep going? I don't know what that means. You're just like doing this, like flicking at me. Okay, so we try to get back to the Grand Endeavor Homes. Telling you folks, live entertainment. You just never know what's gonna happen. We try to go back to the Grand Endeavor Homes scoreboard update really quick. Elgin defeats Pflugerville 37-28. Geronimo Novato 33-7 win over Marble Falls. And San Antonio Central Catholic defeats Seguin as they come back from behind 51-43. And then the Thursday night scores: Weiss over Roush 25-0. Cedar Creek defeats Fredericksburg for the first ever 3-0 start in their school history 20-12. And Novato the former Lanier High School out of Austin gets their first win as the Novato Vikings as they set sail for their inaugural victory against Eastside Memorial, 49-0. And again, those scores from the SHN portion of the network. Hutto getting the win, 38-14. Cedar Creek again just getting that win. We talked about Georgetown and that defensive struggle, 11-8. They see the victory as well. And Eastview, another one of those teams here on SHN. I mean, a very dominant performance for them, 61-7. And again, 61-7. That's quite an impressive showing for the Patriots on the east side of Georgetown. And I think that's going to do it for our home endeavors scoreboard update. Final one of the evening here from the Georgetown Jewelry Studios in Georgetown, Texas. Again, welcome to SHN Football Friday. As it's myself, the Smash, Justin Simmons, alongside probably Steven Strong. You can follow Steven on Twitter and on Instagram at Probably Strong. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at The Smash Simmons. And of course, you can always follow the show and all of the great content that SHN puts out on Twitter, on Instagram at SHN Sports.
Yeah, and no, that was a well done last Grand Endeavor Homes scoreboard update of the evening as we enter our final minutes here on week 3 of a it sounds like everyone had a pretty crazy day today. I mean, it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
it's
full
a full moon. Yeah,
you won't
David
see
said,
another Friday the 13th full moon till 2049.
I mean,
Man, maybe we should do the news instead of just sports. We would be great morning hosts, except I hate to get up early in the morning.
Shout out, KVU or something.
Oh, yeah. I've actually worked at the KVU office for a little while.
Yeah, but were you a news?
I did digital.
Newsstand? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I did a couple of interviews.
Nice.
Yeah. Ann Richards, it's an all women's school in Austin.
Friends that went
so
there.
we won't talk about Ann Richards because they don't have a football team on this show, but they have a really good volleyball team. And they had some players get some scholarships when I was covering sports for KVU for a little while. So
yeah, I mean, I know we're a football show, but honestly, I think volleyball deserves a lot more love than it gets. It goes on for a lot of it is during the football season.
Yeah,
too.
and that I don't know how I feel about this because there's so many schools out there, and everybody has to get their games in. And we know that there's varsity teams that have to play on Thursdays and Saturday nights for football. I mean, just because the Friday Night Lights is such a community-driven thing, I would like to be able to see those volleyball players be able to make it those games. But, they live to play themselves. They're competitive also, so I understand. They care about their game. But, if the schedules could ever be worked out, it would be optimal to everybody to once again be able to attend the Friday Night Lights.
Yeah,
but maybe things have already gone past that point just because we have a new school popping up every 2 years. You gotta make cuts somewhere in that schedule.
Yeah, and I think I don't know, man. I just think volleyball is fun. I think football is fun, obviously too. I think it's just it's so loud, but it's so contained on the court. It's screaming,
it's contained
the smacks
chaos,
of the
man.
and the crowd.
It's a very fast-paced sport.
Yeah.
And SHN does cover some volleyball from time to time as well, and maybe we'll get more high school volleyball teams because there's some really good high school volleyball here in Central Texas, and some of those players do go on to D1 scholarships, and we've had some represent the University of Texas from this area. So
speaking of top volleyball programs,
yeah, for real. I mean, I was hoping to get a game in for them, but things fell through. But either way, I mean, an outstanding program. Anybody would be happy to cover their games.
Well, as we enter our last minute, kind of signing off here for week 3, one last shout out to the pizza guy, Zach. He just texted us too on our hotline, as you see above me, that you can too. So we're gonna get that. Send it. We appreciate, man, him coming by and delivering us this beautiful pan pizza. And but I mean, man, what a week! We kind of talked about the craziness and aspect of the Friday the 13th and the moon, but I mean, just even the games themselves, kind of.
Yeah, some really interesting games. I really thought that the Bowie Lake Travis game was going to be a lot closer, but Lake Travis coming out, showing their dominance. Hutto again rolling. Really surprised with Westwood winning tonight. I wasn't expecting that. Definitely wasn't expecting Gerald to come back the way that they were able to come back. And I'm trying to think if anything else really stood out. I mean, obviously Maynard getting the victory over Liberty Hill on the road. That one's huge for the Mustangs program, something that they can build upon. Didn't see anything else that really jumped out and shocked me. Obviously, I'm happy that Georgetown got the victory, even though it was a tight contest. And again, congratulations to Cedar Creek for starting off the season 3-0. But I think that pretty much sums up the rest of the week until we find out the final scores for tomorrow night's games.
Yep, and as the clock strikes the double zeros of midnight,
Turning back into a pumpkin.
We will. Well, yeah, I mean, Friday the 13th is actually officially over right now.
Now it's over.
So let's everyone go back to our happy lives that we didn't have today. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, we heard David talking about a lot of the crazy stuff that went on with the Georgetown squad traveling to San Antonio. But all in all, you know, we got it done. We were here. We had a great week of football, and we will recoup and see you next week on SHN Football Friday, Week 4, coming at you at the same time, same place next week on SHNSports.com. And that'll do it for us. On behalf of Justin Simmons, I'm Stephen Strong, and everyone here at the SHN Network, we appreciate you, and we hope you have a safe and pleasant evening. Ta-ta, and so long.
Central Texas High School football on SHN Sports is made possible by Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company. 3 words describe Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company: simple, reliable, and awesome. We support our community. From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products, Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company helps put your brand on your business. Get started on your project today by getting a quick and easy quote online at GeorgetownShirtCompany.com. Central Texas High School football on SHN Sports is made possible by Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company. 3 words describe Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company: simple, reliable, and awesome. We support our community. From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products, Georgetown and Austin Shirt Company helps put your brand on your business. Get started on your project today by getting a quick and easy quote online at GeorgetownShirtCompany.com. ...2019 high school football on SHN Sports is proudly presented by Georgetown Jewelry. Georgetown Jewelry is your trusted local jewelry store, family owned and operated since 2013. Whether you desire a one-of-a-kind custom piece or want to enjoy browsing our inventory of both unique and traditional jewelry and watches, stop by and see us at Georgetown Jewelry. We also specialize in jewelry repair and appraisals. For more information, please visit Georgetown Jewelry, located in the Williamsburg Village Shopping Center in Georgetown, or online at GeorgetownJewelry.com.